What's up, everybody? It's time for bonus content. It's me. Alex is here on the couch. Brandt Ranj.
Hey, what's going on, Internet?
You're the first guest on the couch.
That's oh, really?
Like a late night show.
Oh, my goodness. I was going to say Letterman, but he's not even on. Conan. You're Conan.
Conan?
Yeah.
Colbert?
Yeah, but you're also Irish.
Oh, yeah. Scott's here. Tony's here. Nobshin's here. My boys, as I have oft referred to them. And special guest Alex Van Aken is here. That's right. You're not the special guest.
I'm just the guest on the couch.
You're the guest on the couch.
Sure.
One's a special guest. This is why you're both special.
There you go.
Well, I'd say one's a special guest, the other's a house guest.
There you go.
Right.
Scott on the branding side of things.
That's very good and accurate.
We got a lot to cover in bonus content. Normally, I would spend the time talking to the guest, but we had some occasions that I want to catch up on. Nobshin, your birthday was last week.
It was.
On the night of the podcast, so you were not here. How'd your birthday go, bud?
That was good.
What'd you get into?
Not much of anything. Not too much, I should say. Got a lot of phone calls. Mostly because most everybody was out of town. As far as my niece and my nephews are pretty much all out of town. I mean, 11 different states don't live, and they were around where they're not around where I live. So I got a lot of calls from them. My brother called me. My sister had to work that day, so she called me. My best friend Katie was out of town because she went to a con. She called me. Almost forgot it. But she remembered.
She remembered. It was in her heart.
Yeah, it helps when I was cleaning her cats too. So cleaning after her cats. So yeah. But yeah, it was just a nice chill birthday. My mother, bless her, she didn't even know I needed because I went to her are you gonna get am I gonna get a cake today? And she was like, I thought you didn't want cakes anymore. I'm like, I have never said that. And it was a miscommunication. Because there's two things I always hold true to, as far as with my mom at least, is I always help her with Christmas decorations, and I always want her to make a chocolate cake for me. It's just other things I don't eat cards on my birthday because I don't like cards in general. For the most part, that's just a me thing. If they give me cards, I'll take it, obviously.
Just slap it out of their hand.
Birthday card for you. Get away.
And ice cream cake, I just don't do.
You don't do ice cream cake?
No, it's not I don't like it. I just don't like it on my birthday. It's just a weird thing.
Sure.
It's
I never get it, and so when I have it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's a similar thing for me. It's a special little delight when you get it. How do you feel about cookie cake, Nobshin?
It's not something I had often. It's usually from someone else's birthday or something, or some other occasion. But I'm fine with it. I wouldn't want it for my birthday personally.
Mm-hmm.
See, I like that every time that I'm on the podcast, everybody reveals their terrible food opinions.
Do you not like ice cream cake?
No, ice cream cake. I like ice cream cake, but again, I don't really eat it all that often. Mm-hmm. So it is always a treat. And you like what you like, and also on your birthday, you deserve, out of any day of the year, you deserve to get exactly what you want. So Nobshin, are you? Is there a particular bakery in your town that you like? Is there a homemade cake, either from a box or from scratch, that you like? What is your perfect ideal birthday cake?
It's just being homemade, honestly.
There you go.
I mean, sure, I could get a cake from any store or anything like that, but my mom puts a lot of love and care in her cake, so
that's rad.
She covered it with M&Ms for whatever reasons this year.
For whatever reason, I think the reason is that's dope.
I know, the reason was Valentine's Day just passed, and she got a whole bunch of M&Ms. So she just decided to spice it up a little bit by putting M&Ms all around.
That's a cool idea, though. I like that.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's my mom. So they sang happy birthday to me, and it was great. I had a great time.
Good.
Got a lot of thoughtful stuff happened that day. Obviously, the MeIP thing, and a lot of nice people said a lot of nice things about me. So it was really good that day.
Good. I'm glad you had a good day. What'd you get into in the evening? Any shenanigans? Was there was there a double feature? I feel like there was.
That was the next day.
Okay.
Like Saturday, I was just completely off, and like I got offered to go to like a Golden Corral or something like that, but I was like, nah, like I've been working all week. I just want to rest today. That's fine.
Smart.
But then like my best friend Tony took me out the next day. We saw Lego Movie 2, which was fine. It wasn't as good as the first one in my opinion, but like the first one had the pop of being new, so like that's another reason why the second one didn't really live up to that.
It was also like the whole the first one has like that. It's kind of like a twist, I would say. It's like for me, I didn't know about any of like the crazy, like emotionally poignant stuff in the first Lego movie. You know.
Sure, and like when you already know about it in the second one, it's like, oh, okay, so like this is obviously what this is about, type of thing. So it's like, I guess the reveal of that quote unquote doesn't make it that impactful. But like then again, like like Lego Batman movie, like I thought was a really great movie. And that was just strictly in that world. It didn't do like the whole real life thing mixed in with that. So like I thought that was really good as far as that. This one goes like a little too much into the real world, and like as far as like you're still trying to like do the whole Lego thing and like trying to make that poignant and still important, but then like you have to break a certain amount of things to make that work for the story that they're telling. So it was like it was fine, but like yeah, it was just fine. But I saw that, and I saw Alita Battle Angel.
Let's talk about Alita, man, because I feel like you're the only other person I know that likes this movie.
I don't think anyone dislikes the movie.
Okay, but like you came out of it like into it in a similar way that I did. I was into it. Yeah,
like I kind of went into it like honestly with no expectations, really. Like I just didn't really know what to think about, but like I just knew I wanted to see it. Something about it is like called to me, maybe because it's based off an anime, but whatever. But like coming out of it, like I was just impressed by it, and like it's a flawed movie, definitely. It's not perfect in any way, shape, or form, but like I think it just does like a lot of dope stuff, and it's so committed to what it is that like it's really, really good as far as that, or as far as my taste of it, movies are concerned, I should say. Like like the whole off-putting thing about her eyes being so big and stuff like that, like that's like almost immediately like out of your mind like the first 10 minutes in, because like the actor does it so good when she emotes and everything like that. And like and it's so impressive too, because like it's like we could talk about like how good Thanos looks in like Avengers, stuff like that, but like Alita is like almost another step above that, because like I didn't realize how CG she was until like I saw like the bonus bits like when I went home, saw on YouTube and stuff like that. Like I was like wondering like, oh, did they just like put like something over her head and like the rest of her body is just like her regular body or something like that. That's what I thought it was, but no, it was like she's a complete CG character. Like like they have like the bodysuits and stuff like that for her to move around like and all the other stuff, and like the camera on her face, so like they get the emotes right, but like is a complete CG character. I was like so impressed by like how technical that movie is, and like obviously the style's fucking amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of style in that movie. Like visually, I found it like super captivating, especially the action. Like I feel like no action in a movie really grabbed me like it did in that movie. I don't really have anything to compare it to.
Yeah, it's really involved. It's really good.
Yeah, I like Alita. I think she as a character is great. I think all the other characters are kind of uninteresting, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But like I was so involved in her story that I was like really willing to kind of put anything aside just to see where her character goes. And like I think like there was a lot that surprised me. There's like I don't even know if I want to give it away, but there's a use of a curse word in that movie that was like really shocked me. I was like, damn, that was such a great moment too. And yeah, it was like her character was so unique. I thought I was really into it.
Is Alita Battle Angel like based on a manga of some sort, or is this?
It's based on a manga, yeah.
It is. It's a manga in like an hour-long movie.
Okay.
if you like, because I watched that movie, like right after I watched the movie, and it's basically just that movie fast forward. If you want to really think about it, because like, it was like made in like 1993, so like, the quality is not like the greatest, and like as far as everything's like sped up, it's like as far as like meeting Hugo and like having their relationship stuff like that. Like you thought that was rushed in that movie. Like whew, it was like I just love you instantly, like type of thing. So,
Yeah.
um,
Did it end in the same place?
yeah, yeah, because like I would have to say like watching that made me appreciate the movie a whole lot more. Just seeing how much like care and like how much thought they went into it. Like that was a movie I could definitely say like without a shadow of doubt like people gave every fuck about. Like there was like no one that like was lazy about it or like try to half-ass it in almost any other way. It was like people cared about that movie like more than like I see stuff like getting churned out or whatever. Like that movie has heart. That's all I can really say about it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. And it's so loud in the best way. I don't know if you saw it in IMAX. I did. Boy, it was rad. Super rad. The car combat scenes, very good. Very good. Cool. Any other birthday events through the week or?
No. I think everything else has just been me working, and yeah, nothing else really of poignance.
Tony, your birthday was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Did you get into any?
I'm old as fuck now.
You're old as fuck. Sorry, Brandt. You are still a year younger. You're older than Tony.
I was gonna say, isn't he like
You're old as
21?
fuck plus one.
You're old as fuck plus one. Congratulations.
Yeah, my birthday's coming up, so I'll be even older.
Alex, how
Old
old
as
are
fuck
you?
plus two.
I'm 27.
Okay. You're the same age as Brandt.
Yeah.
How does it feel being in the world as a 26-year-old?
It's same as it was.
Nice. You just cut out.
It's the same as it was.
Okay. I need the 1 month lead time that you have on me, Tony, so I can kind of like emotionally prepare for it.
It's the exact same. I
Fuck!
wouldn't worry.
It's terrible right now.
Yeah.
27 was the first year I woke up and was like, damn. This sucks.
I had a back injury and it still hurts. So like I'm pretty sure that's where I'm at this point. Like,
are you sure you're not gonna turn 52? Like you're just
have
a multiplier going on?
like the 31st of March rolls around and it's just like, wow, I have so many wrinkles and I can't feel my bowels anymore.
That's why we do need to wish one another a happy birthday on the 1st. Because I'm April 2nd, you're March 31st.
Yeah. Fun fact, Scott White of IrrationalPassage.com, also April 2nd.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
And Marvin Gaye.
I saw like somebody else on Twitter. I don't remember who it was, but their birthday's on the 2nd too. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, right on.
April 2nd, rock hard. Tony, did you get into any birthday shenanigans?
Nope, absolutely none. And it was great.
Was it like just a chill day for you?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Did you play Black Desert Online on your birthday?
I mean, I'm always playing Black Desert Online. Whether or not I'm doing it actively is the question.
Did you actively play BDO on your birthday?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, basically a perfect birthday then. Finally, you're free. Did you get into any other shenanigans for your birth week?
I don't know. I don't think so. It was
I blacked out on Thursday, so really...
Yeah, it was fucking weird.
It could have been anything. Alex, when's your birthday?
November 25th.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just
3 days after Miley Cyrus.
Really? Okay. You latched onto that fun fact, like, really hard?
2 days. Hers the 23rd.
Oh. Are you looking this up right now?
My brother's is the 19th. Or I'm sorry. My wife's is the 19th. My brother's is the 20th. One aunt is like the 21st, I think. Miley Cyrus is the 23rd. My grandma's the 24th. I'm the 25th.
Nice, dude.
A lot of love in February.
Yeah.
Would you prefer that situation this week of birthdays, including Miley Cyrus, of course?
Yes,
family
of
friend.
course.
Or would you rather have Christmas birthday?
Oh, November all the way.
Okay, yeah.
It's not a big deal. Like the people who have birthdays, like
They can fuck right off. Yeah, I gotcha.
we like celebrate. Like Kayla and I like we'll like celebrate together one night because we're 6 days apart,
Aw.
and so usually we'll pick a weekend, and be like, this is our birthday night.
This is our birth weekend.
Yeah, this is our birthday.
where we
Very
birth
romantic
together.
sounding.
For the entire weekend.
Yeah, you
This is
just
when
give
we're-
birth for the entire weekend.
I feel like that's more of a one-sided activity.
I don't know if you're doing it right then.
We'll go over that after off air.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, I'm going to be real with everybody present here on this call. We got a lot to get to on this podcast. How do we feel about just let's start the real podcast and start talking
Let's
about
just
video games?
jump into it.
Let's go.
In the great words of Phil Spencer, jump in.
Oh, I was going with Phil DeFranco. But
Yeah, I was thinking like, what? You said Phil, and then it threw me off.
It's the Xbox catchphrase right now. Somehow, like 30 minutes into this, I already have to pee. So I'm gonna do that first.
okay.
Also, the vibrating was somebody was giving me a phone call. I didn't know. I was freaking out because I heard some ticking. I was like, "Oh, that's my phone."
I'm gonna
getting
eat these
called.
fries real quick,
And then I'm gonna get a beverage.
A bev?
A
Yeah, I'm
bevy.
gonna get a glass of water. Alex, I want you to know that you are on the big cam right now, so everyone can see you just like very big.
Okay.
While you're eating it, and I want you to know that. Yeah, dude. Yes, dude.
ASMR, please have that as a focus.
Nope. Be right back. Have fun dodging all my
What's up, y'all?
I like Legends of the Hidden Temple is in full effect.
Assemble the silver monkey.
Exactly. Yeah, bring
Silver monkeys or green monkeys?
What?
Silver monkeys or green monkeys? I always thought it was green monkeys in Legend of Hidden Temple. That was red. Never mind. I'm being
I always wanted to watch that show, but for some reason I never could. Like I would always miss it.
What, do you always watch Guts or?
No, I just the TV was always contested, and my friends would talk about it. But I pretty much got Dragon Ball Z at 4 p.m.
Gotcha.
and then I was done.
Well, I should write my games down. I haven't done that yet. Let's see. Played Crackdown. I played DMC.
I'm jealous. I didn't get to play much this week.
Oh, Crackdown?
I haven't played many games this week, unfortunately.
Oh.
But especially, I haven't touched Crackdown yet. I'm going to tonight/tomorrow.
Crackdown.
Did you trip over anything? No. Nice, dude. Better than me.
I was trying to be a little bit.
You're very tall, so like everything is just.
Okay, where's your church?
It's on the table. I think it's by the other mic. Sorry.
Dude, no worries.
I should have kept it.
Love and respect.
Love and respect. I introduced Brandt to the Easy Allies, Nabashin, and now he just keeps saying love and respect to me. Oh, I got a great question, actually. Not knowing yet. Not.
This is probably. I think I know where you're going with this.
Who do you think Brandt's... I'll wait for him to get on headphone. But you know where I'm going with this, Nabashin.
Yeah, Nobshin's a smart man.
He's a smart boy. Nabashin might not even be here.
I'm right here.
He's
Okay.
here.
All right, here. You're gonna ask your question, funny boy.
Who do you think Brandt's favorite ally is?
Ooh.
Even if he gets my second favorite, I think that.
I don't even know who your second is.
Yeah, my first seppuku.
Yeah.
Even because they're.
I'll be your second, Brandt.
Yeah.
I want to go with I feel it's like either Blood or Ian.
Ooh, Interesting.
Very interesting.
My goodness, this is like a Rorschach test of like what do you think is going on in my brain?
Who's your favorite ally?
Yeah. Who's your favorite ally? My favorite ally is Bossman.
Okay.
Kyle Bossman.
Which for me makes a lot of sense because Brandt is basically Kyle Bossman.
It's true.
And it's funny too because mine is Huber, and it's the Bossman-Huber relationship is just our relationship.
It really, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because when you told me your favorite was Huber. Anyway, okay, let's.
You guys got your Audacities ready? Your recording platform of choice?
Yep.
Good to go.
I'm going to count down from 5 to 1, and on 1, we're going to hit record, Alex.
On 1.
Not on go.
On 1.
This is our birthday night. Thank you, Blessing. Shout out to Blessing out of Yo-Yo.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. 5.
Go.
Oh, wait. Scott, Tony, Nabishin, you guys
Go.
ready?
Down here.
Go.
Oh?
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All good? Anybody fuck it up?
No.
I fucked.
Are we sure that both of our channels
But not
are
up.
being
It was downwards.
recorded on Audacity?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
I came, I saw, I fucked.
Goodness.
Downwards.
Nice.
Downwards, yeah. It was a
Yoga.
It was a downward fuck. I don't even know what that means. So what you're saying? Nicole says what you're saying as a 33-year-old man is I'm geriatric. I don't even
You
know.
talking to me?
That's what Nicole said. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how old Nicole is, and it's rude to ask. So she told me once before though, so it's somewhere in this dome. Somewhere. Yeah, Brandt knows there's a lot of fucked up shit in that.
There are a lot of. We had many frank conversations, but the one that I would think we should have right now is about video games.
Yes, I agree. This is what I need.
What, the time? Oh, okay.
I need that PSP, baby, that pre-show puff.
What is happening?
Isn't this your favorite Irrational Passion segment?
It is.
That was anticlimactic.
There is a there is a facial expression that just Brandt took all in, all the way in.
Yeah.
What are you drinking tonight, Alex? Any beer?
Ice cold water.
Very nice.
At the break, I'll grab a beer.
Okay. This is the first beer I've had in almost a month.
I got to keep my composure.
Ditto.
Yeah. I understand. We got to talk about Anthem. You got to rep your brand.
Mm.
It's very important.
Mm.
Just know that anytime, like physically around me, you don't have to keep your composure. Just saying.
Okay. I appreciate
Especially
it.
physically.
I can just let it go.
Just let it go, baby.
Frozen.
Call me Elsa. Let it go.
What?
That's fucking weird, dude.
It's weirder when he said it, many times today.
It is
Is
Saturday.
this just a thing that you've been doing?
Fucking yeah, I've been channeling my inner Elsa.
And I've just said a lot of love and respect.
Yeah, it's a weird bit. It's a bad bit.
Anyway, yeah, it is.
It is Saturday, February 22nd, 2019, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I am your host, Alex O'Neill, and joining me this week, we have Scott Guthier,
It's still weird.
Tony Horvath,
Still weird.
Brian Nabishin Jackson.
Alex Van Aken. When Eddie Valiant's like taking pictures of like Jessica Rabbit and like Marvin Acme playing patty cake, I know it's implied that they're having sex, but like, are they actually having sex, or is he just a weird dude that gets off by playing patty cake?
Alex Van Aken is here. What's your
Yes.
answer?
It's a patty cake fetish.
Brandt Ranj, response?
No comment.
Very well. Very safe.
Solid, wise choice.
Play it safe. I get it.
That's normal, not weird.
We have two very special guests with us this evening. Brandt Ranj on the couch in the studio with me,
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's really, really nice to be back. And I look forward to talking about video games, which I definitely do play.
Yeah. And across the internet in Boulder, Colorado, Mr. OKBeast himself. I've been told that he's the only personality from OKBeast that actually matters. It's what
Wow.
it was written on a
I'll
note
take
and
it,
slide it to me.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Mr. Alex Van Aken, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to be here. I too play games.
You also start many podcasts about them.
I do.
Depends on the week.
Depends on the week.
I've been trying to get Alex on this show for 6 months. I think November was when I
It's
reached
been a
out.
busy few months.
Yeah.
It's been a busy year.
You're a busy boy. As am I.
I'm also trying to. My New Year's resolution was to say no more often.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I'm so eager to say yes and to do things, and then I get overwhelmed. And so I've started this thing where I schedule these things out, and it works out much better.
To be fair, you said yes to me.
I did.
Just clear the air, just so everyone knows. He said yes in November.
Actually,
Really?
Alex, you just asked to like Skype him to like ask him a quick question. Now he's on a 3-hour podcast.
Trapped him. It's a famous Alex O'Neill maneuver. It's how I get the big guests.
Yeah, it's very awkward when you say trapped and then we have to do whatever you say. That's a really awkward thing.
Yeah. No, it's good to have you on. It's good to have both of you on. Brandt, you're here in person.
Yeah, no, it's
Had a
been a
fun
pleasure to hang out with you today. And it's really great to talk to all the Irrational Passions people and to meet Alex through the internet.
Yeah.
It's no more appropriate week, I think, Alex, to have you on than the week that Anthem officially launches. So I think it worked out.
It did.
But let's get right into the show because we got a lot of stuff to cover. And we got 6 people here, so I know it's gonna be a bit. We're gonna move at a pace, whether it's good pace or not. We'll figure it out as we go. Just want to kick some things off with a little bit of housekeeping. If you're not aware, Irrational Passions podcast is a product of irrationalpassions.com, which is a website.
I know.
I mean,
Why are you looking at me?
I've been doing this for 10 years. Why didn't you fucking tell me?
I'm sorry, Scott. I said it at the beginning of every podcast.
It's because it's at irrationalpassions.co.
Oh.
That's what throws people off.
Yeah. We get you with the branding, the weird branding. We got a lot of good stuff up on the website this week. I just want to shout out a couple bits of it. Tetris 99 is a weird video game, and Jarrett Green wrote a feature about it. And anytime Jarrett Green writes a feature, you should pay attention because that man is a phenomenal writer. The title of the piece is Tetris 99 is the future we didn't ask for, which honestly, like the start of that feature, like it starts at a 10 and never slows down, and I'm a big fan of it. We've also got Jessica Cogswell's first piece for RationalPassions.com, a review of Away, Journey to the Unexpected, which could be better.
That was disappointing to read.
A great review, though. I was
Yeah.
really happy with that. And that was Jess's first video game review, period, which was
Nice.
cool. She's obviously written a lot of other stuff, but my review of Kingdom Hearts 3 is up. If you care, if you're into Kingdom Hearts or my opinion of said video game. A review of Hyperjam went up, which is like this cool kind of online, like a competitive arena game that all things we've seen before. That's got liked, but also wish could be better. And I think those are the big things from this week. On Input this week, they talked about the Fall of Starbreeze. That's the title of the show. And I believe they talked a little bit. I don't know if it was that episode or the one prior where they talked about Activision as well. But as more and more of that stuff comes out, there's no Raccoon City Radio this week. We're still playing through Side B. It's going to be out next week. That might be the last episode. We might do a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. But that's all on irrationalpassions.com, a website I've been told is about video games. Brandt, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Because I don't know if in the last circulation that you're on the podcast, Nabishin's been asking multiple questions to guests, or he was for a time.
Uh-huh.
One I've been pondering in regards to you specifically is,
Okay.
what is your favorite video game of all time?
Oh, sure. My favorite video game of all time. I hate to be, like basic or give an answer that a lot of people do, but it is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, is there anything specific about it that elevates it above the other Zeldas?
Sure. I think objectively it's just a really well put together game. I think that it starts really interestingly. It has a really good intro tutorial, which is really important because Nintendo at that point was kind of spearheading how to make 3D games, and they did it with Super Mario 64 when it comes to platformers, and Ocarina of Time with action adventure games. I think the story is pretty engaging. I like the areas; they were pretty varied. But I also have to accept and understand that a big part of the reason why I love that game so much is that I played it when I was 7 years old, and it was a very, very big game to me as a 7-year-old. It seemed like completely expansive, almost like a Skyrim experience, or more aptly, it felt to me at 7 years old to be kind of like Breath of the Wild. Like this was just a limitless area where you could do anything, and there was a farm, and there was a forest, and you beat these 3 temples, and I thought that was where the end of the game was going to be. And then that was just the beginning. And then you have this entire spoilers adult section.
Spoilers.
Where there's 5 additional dungeons, and you have to return to all of these places that you've been to initially, and they've all changed, and then you have to go back and forth throughout time, through the 2 points in time, because certain items and events are only available in one of them. And I just thought it was really, really inventive. So as an adult, I think that it's just an objectively well put together thing, but as a person, it was just a really influential game in my experience with video games as an entire genre of thing, and that's just super cool for me. So there's my encapsulated spiel.
I like that. Yeah. Alex Van Aken, similar question. Do you defend the declaration that Donkey Kong 64 is the Skyrim of N64 video games?
I defend it with all my heart. I mean,
I love that.
The way that Cranky Kong took an arrow to the knee was just utterly horrendous and horrifying.
And he used to be an
adventurer. Deserves our respect.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Donkey Kong 64 is the Skyrim of N64.
Alex, what's your favorite video game of all time?
Oh, it depends on the day. It's either World of Warcraft or probably Breath of the Wild. One of those two. Probably WoW.
Is it intimidating, do you think, to add like a more recent video game to your number one spot?
Yeah, but I mean, it's been a minute, right? Like, I think Breath of the Wild was like particularly like magical for me, and like kind of rekindled of why I love games, and like the whole conversation around Breath of the Wild, whether people loved it or hated it, like that was also really energizing and really kind of made me even more invested in my experience of the game. But I think it is WoW. I think World of Warcraft is just the addiction comes back, in waves. There are times when I think about it daily, and then times where I actually go back and play it, and I'm like, this is cool. And I wish I had time to go back and kind of relive it. I should say, like, I played up until Cataclysm very heavily, and then after the Pandaria, Mists of Pandaria, I kind of fell off because WoW is weird. Like I say, World of Warcraft is my favorite video game, but I'm really thinking of like the 2004 to 2011 version of WoW.
Mm.
So it's weird in that way because it is an ever expanding game, and I'm not necessarily familiar with all the new stuff.
I get you.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone back to that well since?
I have. So I probably go back once every few years, and I actually went back to, I was on like one of the big private servers for a while playing the vanilla WoW. And that was just so good. That was amazing. And then they had like these like allegations against them for some really shady stuff. And so I stopped supporting the server, and I'm waiting for the official legacy servers, and then I'm going to jump back in.
Nice, dude. Is the legacy server just OG WoW?
Yeah. It's going to have some quality of life improvements. They've said like it's not going to be one for one, but like there are some, you know, like it's gonna have the. I think they're saying it's gonna have like the graphics quality of current WoW because I think Warlords of Draenor was the expansion that brought in like a fresh coat of paint. And or it was either Warlords of Draenor or Legion. I think it was Draenor, but and so like that'll be there. It'll be like that, this fresh coat of paint, and then you know some small tweaks. But for the most part, it's the OG experience.
Okay.
Which is much more of a hardcore MMO. WoW is like very casual and approachable now, which is great. And there's a lot of things that like that have been streamlined over the years. OG WoW is very much tedious and you know very grindy in certain parts, and also just like hard at certain points because of like as far as like dungeon design and like the amount like you're just like fighting bullet sponges at some points, and that doesn't sound fun, but it is very fun, and that game is designed really well, but it's just harder.
Yeah, I got you. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that pick.
One thing I miss is the world PvP.
Yeah, I've heard stories.
And so that's kind of one of the big pieces of like vanilla WoW culture is that this world PvP, this idea of you know, this is before the battlegrounds, which are, you know, which are like by choice, you can queue up and go to a battleground now. Back in the day, it was like, you know, if you were on a PvP server, you could get ganked at any moment, and that was what a lot of people loved. And so I think I can't remember if they are honoring. I think they aren't changing that. I think that's going to be how the legacy servers are.
Cool. I like that. I like that answer. I wanted to start game talk. We're talking about video games now, for reference, listeners. I wanted to start game talk with Anthem because I feel like we had a great conversation about Anthem last week, and we got like a lot of layers to it. How long have you been playing Anthem? Just from my point of reference, Alex.
So this version, not much.
Yeah.
I played probably 10 to 15 hours of the betas.
Okay.
So I played like every class, and like I did the stronghold like 4 or 5 times. Like I played a lot of the demo. It's been a busy week, so I haven't gotten to touch the game too much. I know like I guess I don't want to spoil the beginning, but I am kind of, it's still in the early parts.
Okay.
Of the main campaign.
I want to get the update from Tony, but I do want to get like a little bit of that fresh perspective from you, Alex. You've started an Anthem podcast, for folks who don't know, the Freelancer's Guide, right?
Yeah.
And you've done what, 2 episodes, I believe?
Yep, 2 episodes.
I want to. I think like in retrospect, maybe that was like a risky thing. I think like the reception to Anthem is even more negative than I thought it was going to be. And I don't want to like say it's all negative. I don't think it's all negative. There are certainly people and folk that like it. But I think it has been more divisive than even I anticipated. How like was this something that you knew you were gonna like commit into?
Yeah.
And how are you feeling now that we're starting to settle in?
So this was actually the Anthem podcast, limited run podcast, was an extra life goal of ours. So I forget which goal it was, but we decided, you know, if we hit, I think it might have been $1,000, that we would do a limited run Anthem podcast, because a lot of the OKBeast audience likes the limited run stuff. It's a great way to focus on one game. Then also, you know, bring in outsiders who are looking at one game. They've stuck with you for the series, and then maybe they'll follow you back to your main show. That's a lot of why we like to do those limited run podcasts, is the focus and all that stuff. But so we committed to doing this in November, and you know, back then it was like, yeah, the game could be good, it could be bad, it could be okay. I'm fine with talking about it for, you know, I don't have a problem with diving into a bad game. Like, we're not going to sit here and pretend it's a good game, you know? So, I mean, yes, it's more fun to talk about if it's a fun game and everybody loves it, but regardless, we can talk about the game in a limited run fashion. And so it doesn't really, you know, the reception's weird right now, because the staggered release of the game has, in my opinion, the staggered release and just the messaging in general behind the game has been a flub. Like, as far as, you know, calling what should have been called, you know, a public test demo or a beta, Instead, it was called like the Anthem demo, right? The VIP demo. Like you expect a certain product with that, naming convention. When instead it should have been like a network test or marketed as something like that, because these live service games are so, they can go every which way at launch, and you really don't know what you're getting into until you kind of, push the big green button and publish it all, and your servers are flooded and all that stuff. But so going into it, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. But I think the staggered release of the game has kind of hurt it a bit. And like I said, the messaging to what the demos were called, I think from my time with the game, like I said, I've probably played, 10 to 15 hours of the demo, which didn't show a ton of story. I was intrigued by what I saw in the story there. But what I took away was that the gameplay itself was really fun for me. And I was kind of in the mood for just a strictly co-op game that I could play with my buddies. And I think some of the combat that is really fun wasn't actually advertised well either, and wasn't tutorialized well with like the primers and detonators.
Yeah.
Because that kind of, I was playing for the first half of the demo, I was playing it like mostly shooting my gun, and then occasionally throwing out ice beam or whatever. And then once somebody tells you how to actually play the game, it becomes so much more engaging and fun, and to the point where I'm hardly using my gun as like the storm. Like I'm mostly doing my thing with my powers, and then it just felt so much more engaging to me after I learned that about the game. And I feel like the kind of through line so far is like the messaging and like communication to the players has been piss poor, and I think it's coming back to bite them. And yeah, some people have reviewed the game, so they haven't liked it. Other people have said that they love it, or they really like it. And so I am still optimistic about the game. Like I've played it myself before. I enjoyed what I played, so I'm not really. I wasn't necessarily coming to it for the story. Like a lot of people were coming to it for a BioWare story, right? I was not. I am not, and that's like the bonus. That's icing on the cake. If it's a great story, that's. But I was more so excited, for just having a co-op game to play with my friends.
It's funny too, because like this was never billed to me, I think, as a consumer, as a BioWare story, right? Like that was not my anticipation.
Yeah,
it wasn't an expectation at all. And playing the game, as I have a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, is I've been surprised at how interesting I find the story. So that it has been a little bit of an icing on the cake situation. But I think from the get-go, this was very clearly not going to be the BioWare type game that you would expect. I was expecting like a world story versus a narrative story. You know what I mean? And it's funny that you bring up that the communication has been so bad, because we did a group stream, Mike Scott and Scott White, and Mike is in a similar boat, Tony, just for point of reference, as you, where he's been playing for the entire week on PC, and he's finished it, and he's kind of like exploring around post game or end game stuff, and he feels really booned by BioWare coming out and saying, here's our roadmap, here's the update in March, here's what we're doing, here's what year one looks like. Apparently they've updated their website to be like, this is year one Anthem. And it shows a big commitment on their part, but it also he's impressed by how well they've been reacting to stuff, which is good. I think a lot of people were really critical of how Bungie reacted to OG Destiny. I feel like a similar complaint can be lodged against Anthem, because it feels like there's not a lot of that information available to me in game. Like if I boot it up on PS4, like how much do I actually have access to this information either in the game or around the game, because you boot up the game and it gives you like a list of messages, and then when you open one, it opens like the on-console web browser to show it to you. I'm like, no thanks. Like I think Nintendo, for example, is really good at distilling these like one page or one panel updates or scrollable page updates in game or on console. Like specifically Smash Brothers is what comes to mind, of like they have the little updates page, and it has like little like slides you can scroll through to. It's like, here's what's new and stuff. And I think that's cool. And the Switch like news section is actually really good. no one ever talks about it, but I think it is actually a legitimately well done thing. And I think there's a way to take that and put that into something like a Destiny or an Anthem. It's not there at this moment. Tony, I'm really curious, where are you at with Anthem now? I assume like we've gone through the story. How do you feel? You were relatively positive last week.
Yeah, I don't know. The game is pretty much what I said it was. You know, it basically like the combat, everything else kind of sucks, but it's there. Maybe eventually it will be good. A little bit less content than what Destiny 1 had, but that's okay. At this point, like I've played like maybe like I don't know, like maybe 25 hours at most.
Okay.
I have completely exhausted all content in the game.
Yeah.
Like to the point of I have a completely maxed out character with like perfect, like the best stuff you can in every slot. Like I finished the loot grind of this loot grind game within
25 hours.
Within 25 hours.
Okay.
Are you done with Anthem? Do you think?
Until they release more content, I don't think I'm going to open it again.
Yeah. Do you think
like there's no reason to, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it. I really do.
Like I own every masterwork for every gun. Like I have them all, in multiples. So like I don't know. It's like the combat is fun. The game, like actually going around and flying around and killing stuff, is good. But there's just not enough there.
Yeah.
I think that like going through the story was passable. I think that the stuff in town was kind of last time I played, I was like halfway through, last time what we talked about on the show, I was about halfway through. And I was talking about something that people were talking about online that I had seen, like of this one, like kind of like PvE, like placeholder mission where it's like you go do these things and then you can move on or whatever. And I got to that point relatively, like it actually turned out like when I looked at my my quest log, that was the quest that I was on. I had just been doing all the side stuff. So I went and did that. That took maybe an hour and a half to get all of that PvE stuff done. And then after that, and I had said on the show that people were saying that it was about at an early point in the story. It's not an early point in the story. That is pretty much 90% of the way through the story. There are like 2 major missions after that, and then the game's over. So I would say total runtime of doing the campaign is about maybe 6 hours at best.
Okay.
But obviously there are side missions and stuff that span for multiple hours after that. But the critical path of the game is about a 4-hour event.
I heard a little bit of there's like a point in the story where you have to do like challenges of some kind.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So once you get to a certain point, there's like a tomb that you go in, or it's like you need to go to these 4 tombs and go inside. And when you go there, the tomb is like, do these 4 things. Like one of them is go complete 3 or 5 public events. Like revive 3 down sentinels, collect 15 chests, go harvest from 10 harvest nodes. So you do those things, and then you go in, and I don't know, maybe very slight spoiler, you don't do shit in those tombs. You go in, there's a fucking sarcophagus in front of you, or like a stone coffin or whatever. You walk up, you click on it, and it gives you a journal entry, and then you leave. And you do that 4 times, and then you go do 2 more critical path missions or whatever, and then you're done. And then the game is like, here, roll credits, roll a 5-second cutscene that hints at there's a new enemy, which I take issue with that because I just fought, like these 3 different factions or whatever. What happened to those 3 factions? I don't know. I guess they're just gone. Because, I was interested in the Titans and, the World Shapers and whatever, like, that primeval power that's driving the game is. But apparently it's not a thing anymore. Because they're just like, hey, there's a new enemy to fight. I guess go fight. See ya.
Were you...
And then, well, hold on. And then, so you finish that, right? And then you get this guy who's been standing in the town the whole time that you didn't, decides now's the time to talk to you. And he says, hey, so I'm this cool guy who heads up this endgame faction. You should probably do my missions. And you're like, all right, I'll do those missions. And then he gives you the first mission, and it's like, I can't even remember the numbers, but it's like complete 50 public events, complete 50 quick play missions,
Jeez.
complete 100 regular missions, complete 25 strongholds. It's like an insane number. It's like, okay, I'm sure that this is, I haven't even finished that yet, but what could there possibly be after that? If this is just literally a go grind the game, you idiot, you made it to the end game.
Yeah.
So I was expecting there to be more than there is. I think that playing on Grandmaster and stuff, it is significantly more difficult than playing on hard or playing on normal or whatever. I played on hard for the entire story because normal is laughable.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all that going on, and then you get to the end and you go to Master and or Grandmaster, and Grandmaster is fine. It does what it's supposed to do. You do more. Everything does more damage. Your shields and health don't matter very much when you start because you just immediately lose your whole shields and armor. And the reason why is because your masterwork components, like the things that you you have 6 components that are like extra modifiers for your gear, and when you equip them, they not only give you that bonus, they confer a large bonus to your shields and to your armor. So you get those that kind of increase the power as you go. So anyway, you've got that going on, and then you get a couple masterwork components, and it drastically increases your armor. Like a normal, an epic one gives you maybe 800 armor, 800 shield. A masterwork would give you 3,000 of each.
Jesus.
So it gets to the point where there's no, and that's kind of the same with weapons, is they just have these massive modifiers on them. So it gets to the point where there's no reason to ever equip anything else, other than a masterwork in every slot. And what am I going to do? I've got the stuff. There's no real build diversity. You have 4 different skills that you one of each in a slot, and that's fine. And after that, there's nothing left. The game is insanely shallow, which is it really sucks.
Yeah.
Would you say this is kind of not to sound reductive or insult the developers or anything like that, but does it seem like these are people working out of their element, more or less?
I don't know if I would say that. I think that the game has game, right? You can play Anthem, but I think that Anthem is not anywhere near finished. I think that they made a cool engine. The best part about the game is the flying around and the idea of the classes. But there's no skill tree. There used to be a skill tree. They took it out.
Mm-hmm.
There you have 4 different abilities that can go in 2 slots. So you get 8 different abilities, and they do interact with each other. There's a combo system, all that stuff, and the combo system is more intricate than the game even pretends to let you know about. For example, if you put toxic or poison on an enemy as a primer, and then someone else on your team detonates it, that increases the damage that they take from abilities for a time. If you put ice on them and then detonate it, it does a different effect. And so there are ways to increase your damage and ways to play the game to your advantage, which should be. It shouldn't just be gunplay in this game that is way more focused on its abilities than its gunplay. And it's all there, but the game doesn't really tell you how to do any of that. Technically it's in the tutorials in your codex, but you'd have to dig through the codex to find the basic tutorials for the game to tell you how to play itself. And I don't know, they passed the game off as being an early access or whatever, and being the official launch being on the 22nd. But there's so many bugs and half-baked things and abilities that are missing primer or detonator icons that should have them, so the abilities don't function as you would expect them to. There are a lot of things in there that shouldn't be there for a game that it's out. Now it's out, and the day 1 patch that came out did address some issues, Like loading times used to be absolutely horrendous. They're still not great, but they're not that bad anymore.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff is in there. I'm kind of railing on the game pretty hard, but I think that I had a lot of fun playing it. I'm just kind of annoyed that there's nothing left after that little amount for a game that's passed off as a loot grinder, right? You're supposed to fly around and grind for loot, and I already got all the loot in like 4 days.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane. So that I don't know. That's what I kind of where I'm at with Anthem. The campaign was passable. There's like one twist in the whole campaign. Otherwise, everything is incredibly predictable. Even the twist is predictable. Like I was playing with friends the entire time because the game is, if you don't play with 4 people, it's going to match you with 4 people. So anyway, I was playing with friends the whole time, and it's so if it's hidden, it's so poorly hidden and so like obviously foreshadowed what's going to happen in the story that even like the first hint of the twist, we were all like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. And obviously like 4 missions later, here we go. So I don't know. That's okay. There are like, of all the conversations in the main base, which the main base, I'm not even going to talk about main base. You move too slow. There's too many things that don't matter. They're like the thing, like to sum up the base in like one statement, the most prevalent feature of the base, and there are like 4 different ways to get to it, is the cosmetic shop. And the cosmetic shop, which you can access in 4 different locations, is linked. It's also in your menu. You just hit escape and go buy stuff. There's no other menu that is as accessible as the cash shop. But anyway, so all these people that are sitting around the base that I was like expecting I needed to talk to progress the story or not miss, none of them matter. There's only one interesting one. Everything else it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes like some instances it's decently written. Many instances it's just like it doesn't matter. It's all. I didn't find most of the characters very interesting. And those are the kind of things that I look for in video games. It's like to find the cool characters to talk to, and like those are the things that I like. Are not necessarily just going and doing the quests, but learning about what's going on in the world that I'm playing and talking to these NPCs or whatever. And it kind of sucks that most of them kind of suck. Mm-hmm. There's like one cool story, and you don't even get access to it until very late. That kind of just shows up, and you can do some pretty neat stuff there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Anthem is okay. Like, do not spend $60 on this game. Do not spend $30 on this game. Spend $15 for Origin Premiere and play the game, and then unsubscribe after 5 days.
Seems like it bummed you out.
I wanted Anthem to be more than it is, but I expected this honestly going in, which is why I only spent the $15. I think I got my $15 worth out of it. Mm-hmm. But I would in no shape or form recommend purchasing Anthem as it is. I think in maybe 6 months, the game will be worth playing.
Yeah, the Nobishin idea.
Maybe a year when they've put some stuff out.
Scott idea.
Too bad we'll never see it there.
yeah. Nobishin tweeted me this week and asked if in 3 months we can both purchase Anthem and just see what it's like then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
We had an agreement for 6. Fuck you.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, like aside from the negatives of Anthem, like it was fun, to go through and play and all this the strongholds and stuff like that, like the actual end game content that is in the game, however little of it there is. I had a good time playing it. Mm-hmm. Like the idea is there. The gameplay is getting there. I think the gunplay could use some work, though it is already pretty good. It's nowhere near as good as Destiny's. Yeah. The gun variety is nowhere near as good as Destiny's. But some of them are pretty cool. I think that the big difference, right, between Anthem and Destiny, one huge difference is that Anthem does not have a PvP mode in it at all.
Yeah.
And I think that
a lot of longevity to the experience.
That, yes, but also I think that they're not taking advantage of the fact that there is no PvP. And what I mean by that is when there's no PvP in your game, it doesn't matter how ridiculous the items that you have are.
Have superpowers.
Yeah, you can be given like the most ridiculous garbage and have it be awesome, right? Like you can and I think that all of their ideas for guns and the way that they're all set up and the way that your skills work and stuff are far too tame for a game that only is PvE. The only the only feelings that are going to get hurt by how ridiculously powerful and cool you are at the computer, right? So like, why does it matter if, or why do I have to do like try so hard to get these like tiny benefits, or like why do I have to work so hard to do slightly more damage? And why can't I just do like, why wouldn't they just put in some cool shit?
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be rad. And why do I have a limit to how long I can fly?
Yeah.
Or I mean, I can understand some of that from like a combat balance perspective, but one, you don't need to balance your game as harshly as you would a PvP game because it doesn't matter. Two, the best part of your game is flying. Let people fly. And three, like, when you're not in a combat situation, there's actual no gameplay reason that I shouldn't be able to just fly where I want to go, especially if you're going to, space things out across your one map so far away from each other. A lot of the quests that you do and a lot of like the bounties that you end up going on, which going on bounties is basically the entire end game. You either do strongholds or you do these, canned bounties that you do over and over and over again. You go on a mission, it's like, hey, let's do 3 different things, like, and it's kind of like public events.
Yeah.
Go stand on this capture point for a while. Go and inspect these 5 things while enemies attack you. Go clear out this enemy base or whatever. Why do I have to land 9 times or whatever on my way between things? I think that like the heat system is fine. You can like dunk into the water or fly on top of water or fly through a waterfall to refresh that and get a cool debuff so your jets overheat so much. But I think that it's so restrictive in how quickly it heats up that it doesn't need to be there. I think all it does, it's kind of like the energy system in like is in Zelda Skyward Sword.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
It doesn't make sense. Why is it there? Like the only thing that it does, the only thing that system achieves is annoying the player.
Yeah.
Which is the last thing that you want in like a feel good fly around shooter. And but anyway, like they could do so much more with the balance of their game. Because you don't have to balance, people being upset that they're fighting against this overpowered thing that another player is doing.
Yeah.
I think that there are some things in there that are cool, and kind of encapsulate that idea, which like the gun that I've been using, which I think is probably the best gun in the game. I don't know if they've changed it in the last 2 days. I haven't looked, but I was reading the Reddit and they might change this. And if they change this, it further, goes against my point of just let people do cool shit in your game. There's no reason to take away the cool shit. And what that is, like, there's a marksman pistol, like a heavy pistol that has the affix for being a masterwork that gives you a 200% damage bonus to your guns while you are hovering, which I'm playing the Storm, which is like the hover around throw spells class. So I'm hovering 99% of the time. So basically, if you equip that, all your weapons do 200% more damage. But the way that it's worded, it says all weapons do 200% more damage. So you can equip 2 of those, and then all the time you have an extra 400% weapon damage. And then there's you can stack that with the masterwork components that your class can get to increase like critical hit damage while hovering with weapons. So if you do all that, like instead of like 2,000 damage, which I do when I'm sitting on the ground, if I like am floating and hit someone in the head, I do like 20,000 damage, and that's rad.
Jesus.
It's super cool.
That is cool.
But like they're saying online that they might fix that, or like they're aware of this and may end up rebalancing it. And like, what's the point? What's the point of letting me have my cool hover around shooty things build? What if you nerf this and make me use a different set of guns? The only person that's annoyed by this is me, and the only person that wouldn't be annoyed by it if you didn't is me. Mm-hmm. So like it doesn't make sense to balance your game for PvP if your game doesn't have PvP. Like let us do cool shit, but let us explore the systems that you've put into the game, right? Like they give you all these different abilities and guns and stuff, and there's so much more that they could do with it if they kind of just let it go off the rails a little bit. And I think that would be the cool thing about Anthem, right? So you go there to fly around and be a rad space like exosuit Iron Man. Mm-hmm. So be the rad dude. But yeah, so I don't know. That's where I'm at with it.
I know what you-
There's cool shit. I think that they could definitely do more than they're doing. Hopefully, it gets there eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to like legit vanilla Destiny 1. I think that was like a bad game.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
aside from it being feeling like incredible and some of the level and world design being really cool, like you think about the thrust of that game is like what feels like 10 missions.
Yeah.
And it's super anticlimactic, and when it ends, it doesn't feel like it ends, and then there's literally nothing to do, as far as I know.
Yeah, yeah. So, and the one other thing that I mentioned that I just remembered, like last week, when asked about the free play map and stuff, I wasn't sure how that worked. There is one map. The entire campaign and entire game takes place on one map.
Yeah.
It's continuous. There's one you can load in one of 2 points, and you fly around the entire map. And there are no other areas in the game, really. It's just everything, all the campaign, story, missions, and all of everything takes place on that one kind of medium-ish sized map. You get to you know how big, I would say it's about as big as like the Dreadnought in Destiny 2, or in regular Destiny, like Return of the King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Return of the King. Yep.
Yeah, Return of the King. It's about as big as that, and that's the whole map. But I mean, it is bigger than that, but it feels about that big because you're flying everywhere.
Yeah. You're traversing the ground a lot faster.
Yeah, I think that the game looks great, but there needs to be more of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the one other thing that really, really annoys me, once you get to the end game and you're doing these like bounties and stuff that are kind of like daily reset, you do these bounties and you're guaranteed to get a masterwork at the end if you do, and that unlocks it once you've done all the story. But anyway, doing these missions and stuff, basically all of the content at the end of the game, if you're in a stronghold, the dialogue is exactly the same every time. Even like the quips of your freelancer or whatever, they say the exact same thing at the exact same points of every time you go through it, which that kind of makes sense because they're programmed to be exactly the same experience, right? But then you do these repeatable missions every day. And the most annoying thing, and I play with the game muted now because I have no subtitles on because it pissed me off hearing it over and over again, is you go to a mission and whatever of the 3 factions you're doing the mission for briefs you in like a short sentence and is like, if you're doing an Arcanist thing, the guy will be like, there's an Arcanist base ahead, help those researchers out. And then in that, he'll repeat like a short 1-sentence brief of what the next thing you need to do 4 times throughout the mission. But every single time an NPC says anything throughout the entire mission, your freelancer will immediately respond with a 1-word affirmative answer. And I'm sure that there's just like a list, they're probably pulling from a database or a matrix of 7 of these things, maybe even like 4. That's like, got it, or like affirmative, on my way, or like I'm going. And it's just the exact same thing every time. No matter what someone says, no matter what you're doing, like they'll say, go do this thing. And the freelancer is like, on it. And that's it. That's the entire dialogue of the entire mission. And it happens over and over again and it pisses me off. Like, could you even sometimes they don't even make sense. I can't think of a specific example, but I remember like hearing someone say something and then the freelancer says generic affirmative response. Right. And then I'm just like, the way that you said that didn't even make an ounce of fucking sense compared to the thing that the person just said.
Yeah.
It's just laziness.
Yeah.
Like they recorded with the voice act 5 things to be said in this situation. And they just pick one at random. And it's indicative of a lot of the stuff in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's one of those things too of like something like that I feel is like hurt by the rest of Anthem, kind of like what you said, Namshin, with Spider-Man. Like for you, like when the 4th wall, like that like the audience, what you give the game of like, I'll let you go this far and I'll ride along. When that's broken by whatever issue is there, everything else falls apart.
Yeah, totally.
I totally get that. I feel you, Tony. I feel for you.
Yeah. And my final word on Anthem, and like this experience is the most fun like things that I've done in Anthem, and it kind of brings it comes from my point of let us do broken, stupid shit because it's fun. This is probably an extreme example, and I don't know, this has probably been fixed now too. But in the game, there was, maybe still is, a bug with a storm masterwork component, which it's the component that whenever you're hovering, you do an extra 45% damage to critical points on enemies. The way that buff is applied, when you start hovering, you get a buff that gives you that bonus for as long as you're hovering, and it resets when you stop. But the way that the storm dodges, they like disappear and reappear hovering again.
Yeah.
Though for some reason, the way that was coded in the game, every time you dodge while continuously hovering, you gain a new stack of that buff without losing the old one.
Huh.
Which is unintended, but it's fun. So if you've got these two guns, right, that I have that increase your damage by 400% while you're hovering, and then you're playing Storm, which has an extremely long time to overheat while hovering. If you just jump and start hovering and then just spam dodges for as long as you can stack this buff 100 times. So we'd do a stronghold on Grand Map, and we'd get to the boss, and like we'd get to the door. I'd start hovering, they'd open the door, and then I'd just dash continuously as the boss was kind of spawning. And jumping down into the room.
Yeah.
Then this stronghold's boss just has 4 giant like weak points, 2 on each side. So I would just dash, and as soon as the boss was vulnerable, able to be hit, just shoot it and do like 500,000 damage 4 times, and the boss dies immediately. It's hilarious and funny, and that was really fun to do. And obviously, it's sort of an exploit and not really intended as far as the game is concerned. But that kind of shit's fun.
Yeah.
And even to a much lesser degree, doing that stuff is the more cool shit. You want to feel powerful and kill stuff, and maybe not on Grandmaster or whatever, which is like the modes that are supposed to challenge you. Where if it's not just one giant enemy with a huge weak point, that's not as powerful. But anyway, that stuff is fun. And being able to do that cool shit with the systems that the game has already, even to a lesser degree, like I said, if this specific one wasn't completely busted, it was cool.
Cool. I'm glad that you have some positives to take away. I feel for you. Like I genuinely, I get where you come from, Tony. And the thing is, like, I feel like you are the most experienced of anyone I know with these kinds of games.
Yeah, like it plays kind of like a Diablo, and I'll go in and grind that shit for hours, Yeah. And I tried to do that with this game, and it took 2 days to get everything in the game.
Yeah, I will say, like, do you think you beyond anyone I know, like, I feel like you have a great rhythm with the loot grind. Like, do you think that you grinded through it faster than probably a traditional player would?
I mean, yes, right. Like, the majority of players will play through the game on normal and hard, and then kind of stick there for a while, right? I've been thinking about this recently. I tuned in for a bit of Giant Bomb's coverage, which, by the way, is for as negative as mine is. Giant Bomb's coverage of Anthem is like 17 times more negative than mine.
Yeah.
It was to the point where like it pissed me off how closed-minded they were to getting through the rest of the game before completely trash. Which is, I don't know, it's sort of typical of their website for games like, and of Jeff specifically. He's very quick to dismiss games like, before getting through the rest of the grind.
Yeah.
These kind of games specifically. But I don't know, like, it got me thinking, like, it's weird that people experience the game that way, where they like go into it and experience a couple hours of it, and from there that's kind of like their experience with the game. And it kind of like, I wrote a whole thing about this and didn't end up sending it to you guys just because I thought it was maybe too hyperbolic. But it kind of pisses me off to watch some media outlets' coverage of video games, especially PC games and stuff now, because they're just bad. Like, straight up, they're just bad. Like, they'll play a video, and this was when I watched like the Sea of Thieves coverage, and this was a year late watching it, but watching some Sea of Thieves coverage from media outlets, and like people not being able to use like common game sense, like knowledge that you should be able to intuit how to do things in video games if you've played enough of them, right? Like, it's kind of like you pick up a controller in a new game and you already know how to use a dual analog movement and camera scheme, right? You just know how to do that because you've done it in video games before. And so, but I don't know, like, and treat like for some reason, like, people will pick up video games and not understand how to do basic game things with. Like, you start a video game and there's a thing on your screen that says, you know, do X thing, and they don't do it, and then, you know, 10 minutes later they're wondering why nothing is happening. It's because you didn't do the thing sitting on your screen the entire time, dead center. It says do this thing, right? So to a degree, I think that it being just generally being decent at video games helps in a case as well, like this, where it's like, man, how is it possible that you didn't figure out, you know, that you do X thing by doing this very simple thing? Why did the game need to tell you that? In some cases, the game tells you, right? It's like, press LB to do the action that you want to do. Or maybe it'll be like on the UI on your screen, but then people complain, like, how do I do this thing?
Yeah. I mean, like, to play devil's advocate, like, there's like a series of pressures and whatnot with that too. Like,
well, I don't necessarily mean only games journalists.
Yeah, no, I know. I think, like, you can apply that to a lot of folks. And I think it's why I asked the question of, like, Tony, you are good at video games. But beyond anything else, like, I think you're someone I really trust when it comes to this kind of game, right? Like, I don't think I would have gotten into Taken King like I did without you.
Sure.
And that's why I asked, like, hey, do you think you approach this differently than, say, like, the average Joe? And I think there is some truth there. I think I've always been an advocate of, like, everyone experiences a game differently, even if the game is the same, for everyone that plays it. Like, an Uncharted 4 is different to someone than it is to me. Exactly. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I see where you're coming from. Like, I think that's a part of that is, like, streaming has, like, helped boon talking and discussing these kinds of games.
Sure.
Because it is ongoing as the game is ongoing versus, like, a review, which is static. And yeah. I am on the fence, as I often am, about that kind of thing of, like, I like the review for being in the moment on February 21st or 22nd when Anthem launches. Like, here is what I think of this.
Yeah, my huge problem with Anthem is that I don't want to spend $60 for your ID.
Yeah.
I want to spend $60 for your completed video game.
Yeah.
Which is why I refuse to do that, and I'm okay with the $15 to play your idea, which might be slightly more developed than whatever they chuck out on early access on. But no games really that come out recently that are complete.
Yeah.
I think that golden age of video games coming out and being done is far past.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Monster
Hunter World, yeah, I mean, that's a good example of one that definitely did a good job of having many things finished before, and adding more DLC and stuff for free. Cool.
But it's
Monster Hunter World is
the exception, not the rule,
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could talk about how Persona 5 is a 1.0 game all we want, but we know, all of us know that is very much not the case normally,
Yeah, there may be like one or two of those a year that come out that are good, and then everything else is like, here's my maybe 50 to 90% completed idea. Wait a while and pay me right now, and I might fit.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
6 months, dude.
6 months. Let's revisit this.
6 months.
Alex,
better believe I'm coming back for the raid, though. By the way.
Oh yeah. Do we have a name for what those are called?
I think they're called cataclysms.
Ooh, cataclysms.
And
I know, like, Act 1 is detailed in 3 parts, and the third part is the raid.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with that, because so far all the puzzle solving in the entire game are these, like, this one specific puzzle.
Is it where you go
that you just do over and over again? No, so that's like more of like just a checkpoint thing. There's this one thing that they use like 9 times in the story, exact same puzzle, which is like the pedestal that on top are 2 square rotating columns, and each of these 4 sides on the columns has a symbol on it. And they're the same, the same four symbols on each right side, same four symbols on each left. And if you orient the pillars correctly, then the puzzle's completed. And they'll just place like little plaques with symbols on it somewhere around the environment near the pillars that are supposed to be some way of deducing a clue as to what the answer to the thing is.
Got it.
And that's the only puzzle in the entire game.
So far.
Yeah, exactly. In all the missions and all of whatever, you never see any other non-combat thing to solve that isn't that. So I'm very curious to see what more they got. If the raid is like 9 sections of those, that wouldn't be very fun.
Yeah, it would be.
So we'll see, right?
Yeah. Alex, where are you playing Anthem primarily?
PS4.
Okay. How's it performing for you?
I'm on a PS4 Pro and haven't really run into any issues. I mean, outside of like the network issues, occasionally, but for the most part, pretty stable.
Okay. I've been playing on PS4 as well, and I had a little bit of choppiness when I played on Xbox One, Xbox One X, to preface, right? Last week when like the 10-hour trial was available.
Yeah.
It was rough, man. I was really surprised at how rough it was. I know there was a day one patch between then and now. But yeah, it definitely had me concernicus. How you feeling, Alex, now that Tony has laid waste to your hopes and dreams?
Can't wait to jump in.
Jump in!
Hey, man, I don't mean to discourage.
No, that was really good.
What's there is great.
Hey man, he did a whole podcast about Fallout 76. I think he's good.
Yeah, I've been through this.
Yeah.
No, I'm still excited. I loved what I played, so if it's 25 hours from me, that's great. But we'll see. Maybe I will be like Tony, and on the other side, I will be not so hot on it. But
I'm
still excited. Yeah, I'll be hurt.
No, that was really good, Tony. Again, like I really value your perspective on these kinds of games specifically. And I think like there's no better resource for me, at least personally, of like when it comes to the loot shooter, especially.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but like that one thing that you're saying, like it, like games not being immediately obvious, right? It's so foreign to me. Like people don't understand how to play Monster Hunter, or like they'll get really hung up on how to do things in the UI of Monster Hunter specifically and stuff like that. And that's never been an issue for me. So those kind of things are kind of like outside of my wheelhouse of like understanding.
Yeah.
I don't really get how you cannot understand how to do the basic things in video games. So I guess that's kind of a blind spot for me.
I think, and like maybe it's you rubbing off on me. I think there is like a certain confidence I've adopted, especially, like going to events and playing demos, right? Like
sure,
you pick up and play a lot of different things.
Exactly, right? And you just there's a lot of systems that all video games use. So you can just intuit how most things work and apply some common fucking sense if something doesn't immediately make sense. And then you'd be like, great, now I wonder how to do this thing. Let me try these things that probably work. Oh, this thing worked. Here we go.
Yeah, like I get it. I do get it. Because like I think it like my biggest strength, like I'm not very good at video games, but I would say like I'm adaptive. Like I can pick up something.
Yeah, I think being good at a video game and understanding how video games work in general are very different.
Yeah, I'd like to think that I understand how video games work in general. So like picking up and like when I've played Dark Souls before, so any game like it, I can pick up and just be comfortable.
Exactly.
Very quickly.
And games that adapt things like Dark Souls, maybe not a Dark Souls game, but you could be like, oh, I did a similar thing to this in Dark Souls.
Yeah. Like when I played Ashen for the first time, and I had never played it ever before, but like I picked it up and right shoulder was attack. I was like, okay, I know how to play this game. Like there is a level of, there's a language that I understand in that regard, like a physical language of how to play. So I do get it. Anthem, man. That was a good Anthem segment. Did it live up to the hype, Brandt?
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty good game.
Seems fun. Another video game, Alex, that you've been playing that I assume has just a much more flatline positive vibe is Apex Legends.
Yeah, that game is great. I just hit like level 55 on PS4 in that game. I am digging it.
Watching you play that game makes me sad about my existence.
If it helps, like I suck on the Xbox.
Excellent.
For some reason, the PS4, the controller I have, which is crazy because I grew up playing Xbox for the. I mean, I played all of them, but Xbox was definitely like the thing I played in my teenage years to adulthood the most. And like the past few years, I haven't played Xbox as much, and I've lost it on there. I can't.
What happened to you, man?
I used to
You used to be a
swear
real
by
gamer,
all
dude.
How do you like the Havoc?
Yeah.
The Havoc is, if you have the select fire receiver, the Havoc is good, I think. I don't think it can compete with other LMGs like the Spitfire and Devotion when it comes to like its base, burst function or whatever, like revving up. It's got like a huge rev up to it. And I feel like I have only done well with it when I turn it into the pulse rifle.
Okay, and it's like a sniper rifle esque. When it has that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like it's cool that they just threw a new gun in that game.
Yeah.
That's another. Apparently, you only play video games that you have a dedicated podcast for.
That's very true.
Yeah. So
What we did with Breath of the Wild, we started playing, and this is very similar with Apex Legends. We started playing Breath of the Wild, had no plans for doing a podcast for that game, and then the first day that we played it, we were like so enamored with it, and we were like, I have so much to talk about. Let's do a podcast on the game. That's how Breath of the Wild started.
Yeah,
and that's how it started. And I'm loving that game. I'm digging that game.
I'd like to think that Jumpmaster started exclusively because Blessing and I played together, and I told him that he should start a podcast called Jumpmasters. But I can't. No, I can't take full credit. Did you enjoy our Jump Force podcast bit?
I did. I very much did.
I felt bad because like there were like 7 tweets in that thread. I was like, I'm probably digging into OKBeast real hard right now, and I have like glass, like we did the short-lived Farm to Tower. I'm like fucking throwing as many stones from this glass house as I can muster.
Yeah,
you got to start breaking
all the stones,
throwing the glass shards.
Yeah. I'm just saying, podcast ultimate. Let the dream live. No, yeah, I've not listened to Jump Masters, but I just watching your videos on Twitter, I feel like I understand you, Alex.
Yeah.
I finally see you truly as the person you are.
What is that?
Someone who really likes Lawbreakers, and you're taking it out on Apex Legends.
I'm taking it out on the entire lobby of Apex Legends. This is for Cliffy.
Do you have like a number of victories in that game?
I think I'm in my 20s somewhere.
Jesus.
Victories.
That was way more than I thought you were going to say, like 13.
More than your ego can handle.
Yeah, exactly.
20 or 30, I think, somewhere in there.
Nice, dude. I had 2 separate victories this week, and again, now it is officially the most victories in a battle royale I've ever gotten.
That's awesome.
I have 1 Fortnite win and I have 1 PUBG win. Take that shit to the grave. But they were both with total randos.
Wow.
I won once with Andrew Taylor and Blessing, and I won now twice. I think I won 3 other times. I won maybe with Scott White. I'm not sure. And then I won just first game I played after playing a bunch on PS4, jumping back over to Xbox. I won with complete strangers, and then I won again.
That's awesome.
The other day, and it's like, honest to God, that ping system is incredible.
You can expand it, right?
Yep.
And okay, cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people still don't know that.
It's in the tutorial, but I guess most people skip through it.
Yeah, they just kind of rush through.
But yeah, like it's just. But honestly, like even excluding the radial menu, the contextual nature to the ping system is just like Logan Wilkinson and Scott White and I were playing 2 nights ago, and like if we had a game of the year category for best new video game mechanic or best refined video game mechanic, like I would certainly throw the ping system in there, because I don't think the rando victories could even happen without that.
It. Mm-hmm.
It's just, I'm sure you guys have talked about it plenty, but it is a top of the line video game mechanic. It is the kind of thing, like the innovative kind of idea I would expect from Respawn. people that have been at it a long time. And now it's a thing. I think you brought it up last week, Tony, of like, I just want it in every video. I play Anthem and I'm hitting R1. I'm like, why isn't this working? You know, like it is so good that it has become like a baseline expectation in all shooters for me to some extent.
Yeah, it's such a great tool for accessibility and communication. And I don't see many from now on, like you said, like this is the new baseline. Like it needs to be implemented in some way, shape, or fashion going forward. And like Fortnite had some of that, you know, they had like the location, the waypoints, but that really didn't, you know, randos still didn't pay attention to that. There was no vocal or like textual alerts when people would do that. Like somebody would just randomly ping something on the map and be like, okay, like, that's the location. Yep.
Yep, that's
We're
the
not
thing.
going there. We're not going there.
Yeah, I'm not going to Dusty Towers or whatever it's called. Twisted Tower, Tilted Towers.
Give me those dusty towers.
Give me that Dusty Tower, my good friend.
Yeah. I also love how Tilted Towers is a sky base in this game.
Yeah. It's like, all right, we're dropping on this fucking drop ship, and I swear to God, this is the run.
Yeah.
Then you drop, and it's like, man, there's loot for like one person here.
Yeah,
and
shit.
you get sad and have to.
I found 12 scopes at least. filled my
Yeah.
2 backpacks.
I found my one guaranteed purple drop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. There's still stuff like I find in that game that surprises me too. Like a care package came down and it had like a golden wingman on it.
Yep.
And I was like, I didn't know this is a thing. Of like 3 golden attachments or like, you know, it being just a different kind of wingman to some extent. And
yeah.
I'm
There's
excited
a
to see
lot.
more of that.
There's a lot. I said like on a recent podcast, like it was like an onion, you know, and it's still like even after I probably played the game. I don't know. They don't really do great at stack tracking in this game, so I don't know how many. You know, I guess I know how many matches I've played, and it's like a lot. But I'm still learning new things too. Like the other day, I learned you could jump up halfway on a wall and like peek over the edge. You don't have to like, and like you can kind of hang on the wall and look around. Yeah, in first person, like you just like look right over the wall, and like there's little things like that I keep discovering about the game.
Very cool.
Yeah, I dig it.
Have you refined in your secret sauce the very specific thing that makes Apex Legends special? Like, have you figured it out yet outside of the ping system?
I haven't. I'm working on it though.
Okay.
I think a lot of it is the world design.
Mm-hmm.
It's like such a great map, the map design and how it interacts with like the characters so well. It just every character feels essential, but at the same time, like they feel essential, but picking a certain character doesn't get you the win, right? Like you still have to be, you know, decent at the base mechanics that everyone shares. And
some might say if you're not able to shoot things, it doesn't matter what character you.
Yeah, right. Unless you're Gibraltar or Lifeline, you can still be of some use to your team. But
if you're Gibraltar, I think you probably lost already, though.
Nah,
get dunked, Gibraltar.
The biggest difference between the guys is your hitbox. Gibraltar has the largest.
Yeah. My friend Rihanna though does work with Gibraltar. Like it's insane.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
still don't know how the fuck his shield works, but I'll figure it out someday.
Yeah.
Apex Legends is a special game, and it's just for me, it's like so great to see Respawn
All right.
take a W.
So another question.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to figure out that it was a good idea to give your Lifeline all of the ultimate accelerants?
This is a good question.
Me? Pretty quick, I think. But I didn't. I wasn't like, man, we should give it the Lifeline. I heard somebody else told me,
okay,
give them the Lifeline. I was like, that's a great idea.
That's exactly my response time as well. So it makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't speak the common video game language. I'm dumb. I'm bad at video games, as we know. So,
typical games journalist.
Yep, that's me. Typical video games journalisms. Let's take a quick break because we talked a lot about Anthem. Have you been playing anything else, Alex, or is it just those two?
Some Wargroove.
Okay.
I really dig that game. Wargroove and Apex are the only new games I've played this year.
Okay.
And I installed Subnautica for reasons, so I'm gonna jump into that soon.
Interesting.
And maybe Shadow Warrior too, but I haven't played any of those yet.
I know Shadow Warrior 2 is calling to you.
Yeah, it is.
I heard
very
the
much
call.
You heard the call?
I did. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about some other video games that aren't Anthem. Like maybe Yoshi's Crafted World. How would you feel about that, Brandt?
Yeah, I think it's the Nintendo's answer to Anthem.
I really think so.
That's what I'm prepared to spend the next hour and 13 minutes explaining to you why.
I'm very excited.
Hold on to your butts.
So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with some more games. We might end up skipping news. There's one thing I do want to touch on, just because again we have a lot of people here, so there's going to be a lot of games to talk about. Then we'll get to questions. So we will be back in just a little bit.
I did have some jalapeno potato chips.
Jalapeno poppers. And we're back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
Hey.
Hello.
Let's talk about some other video games. Brandt, what have you been playing, dude?
Sure. So last week we had a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, we did.
Which is pretty cool, and they shadow dropped a whole bunch of stuff, full games and demos, and I spent a lot of time, or about an hour or so, with Yoshi's Crafted World.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Game for babies.
A game for babies, apparently.
a game for babies, and as a baby, I was like, "This is for me."
I'm sorry, you dropped your pacifier, sir.
Understand? I got into bed. I put on my blanket.
Yeah.
You know, I poured myself a glass of warm milk, and I was like,
do not like milk. I will not accept this narrative.
not canon. And then I turned on my game for babbies. It was really fun.
Hell yeah, dude.
He also didn't say blankie, so you know.
It's true, yeah.
That's how you know it was-
You're a fake gamer baby.
That's follow me on Instagram. Fake gamer
At
baby.
Fake Gamer Baby.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Exact squad. It's the brand that I want.
We got to squat on that.
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
Fake gamer baby. I'm sure it exists.
For sure.
So my history with the Yoshi's Island franchise is I played the first game, and then I didn't play the DS version. I didn't really play the GBA version. I played a little bit of Woolly World.
What do you think of Woolly World?
It was really fun, but I never got around to buying the game. So it was a game that I played at a couple of people's houses, including here.
You and I played through the entirety of Yoshi's Story together also?
Right. So I played Yoshi's Story as a kid and then once as an adult. But I haven't really gotten into a Yoshi game in a little while. And so I like the opportunity to actually get to play around with the mechanics of Crafted World. It's really fun.
What is the hook of Crafted World? Is it the flipping?
It is the flipping, where things, you go into the level one way and then you go into the level the next way. But the best, or the two things that stood out to me in the demo that I played is, I think the art style looks really, really nice. Nintendo's always been a style-focused company, especially after they made the change with their hardware to be less focused on raw power, which kind of led them to try new stuff. Like even the cell shaded kind of choice to go with that way with Wind Waker was really, really smart, to choose style over just raw graphical fidelity, and it usually works out for them. And to that end, Crafted World's it's just like a beautiful game. It has like that kind of, I guess, like discarded trash look. For lack of a better term, but the main mechanic, besides the flipping, is just it's a fun collection game, in that the things that you collect are kind of fun to keep an eye out for. So you have red coins, you have red coins, you have you want your life to be at maximum capacity, and then you want to find the hidden, I guess, flowers in the game. These are all kind of carryovers from the original Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo, and it's really fun because what it forces you to do is really pay attention to every single detail that they have in the game. And of course, this is the first level, so it's remarkably easy. But I missed one flower on my first playthrough, and so I played through the level again, and I found it, and it was just in a very, very clever place. One of the cool things is, obviously, the main mechanic is to throw eggs. Make eggs, throw eggs, #throwbacks. And you still do that, but one of the things you can do is, instead of just being able to shoot them on like a 2D plane, you can also shoot them on a 3D plane. So there are things happening in the foreground and the background, and you can actually move your cursor and throw eggs at that. So there were a bunch of,
cool.
In the first level, there were a bunch of Shy Guys carrying coins, which were the red coins, and they were in the foreground, so you had to pay attention to the Shy Guys going back and forth and then shooting an egg at them when they were holding the coin in order to get the red coin. There are just a bunch of little touches like that made the first level very, very fun. And then once you beat it, you get another objective, which is to shoot these kind of fake paper cows. And again, that's another. The paper cows or I guess the cardboard cows are in the background of the level. So as you're going through, you're looking for these cows, and then you're shooting eggs at them. And I think that the thing that gets me interested in the game is that, again, the art style is really nice, but it's a game that I feel like I could play through once casually and then play through twice to try to 100%
As like
it.
collectibles, yeah.
Exactly, but they're not annoying. So there's this game, I don't know if you've heard of it, Alex. It's called Donkey Kong 64.
Oh wow, yes, the Skyrim of N64.
Yeah, no, it's really, really. It's got an orange-based economy. It's very, very, it's very, very strange. It's explosive oranges. Again, that's my other Instagram. That's my Finsta.
I gotta get you and Blessing in the same room at some point.
Yeah. So that game is really annoying in that it has a lot of collection stuff in it, and you're collecting different colored bananas, and it's a mess.
Yeah.
But the collection stuff in Crafted World, the reason why I like it so much is it's about your ability to pay attention to things that are going on in the world, and that actually ends up feeding into the gameplay loop of enjoying the graphical style.
The aesthetic, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that those two main mechanics play together really, really well. And again, I've only played one level. I've played through it, I guess, 3 times. The first time just regularly, the second time to get the last collectible, and then the third time to find the cows, which again, out of context, makes me sound crazy. But I liked it. Even though this level was easy, and I assume that it's going to ramp up in difficulty as those games typically do, even the mainline Mario games, you can beat them casually, but then to 100% them, it really takes some serious time and effort. But it just seems like a really cool game, and I'm glad that they dropped the demo and the game is coming out soon. So it's not going to be this big wait.
Yeah, Nintendo's been very good about that as of late. Like just from announcement to release, their kind of window is they're just trying to make it sharper and sharper.
Yeah, the cadence was when they announced the Switch, they wanted to have kind of one quote unquote major game released every single month, and they haven't necessarily hit that, but they're getting they're pretty close. So I like that idea that every single month you're getting something totally new on top of the very good third-party support, at least for a Nintendo console, and the very good indie support again for a Nintendo
Shrewd
console.
moves, my dude. This is my jam.
It's true.
Hollow Knight, shrewd move. Into the Breach, shrewd move. Crosscode, shrewd move.
Exactly. Tetris, shrewd move.
Yeah. Tetris 99.
Mario Maker and the remake of Link's Awakening, both happening in 2019. Really, really cool. I like that. I think that it's always a little bit annoying and disheartening, and I understand why you do it, because you want to build hype for a game, but it's really weird to see a trailer and you're like really hyped for something, and then it just says like 2021, and it's like I don't know what I'm gonna. I don't know if we're gonna be alive in 2021.
Yeah,
much less
this rate.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where or what I'm gonna be in 2021. I hope I know. I have a better idea of where I'm gonna be in June of this year.
Yeah.
I think.
I hope. Well, it was the guys that made Firewatch, their game.
Santo?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Valley of the
of the
Gods.
Gods.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's 2019 or
Yeah, it's supposed to, assumed.
but it was announced in 2017. It was like, Jesus. All right. Buckle up, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Like, if you're trying to goose pre-order numbers or whatever, I can completely understand that point of view. And again, the video game industry, there's a lot of stuff going on all the time, and so it's nice to show an audience a game that they might be interested, so they can put a pin on it, and they can earmark the money for it. But if a game isn't coming out in the next calendar year or in the same calendar year, I tend to almost forget about it or put it off until it gets a lot closer to the release date, and then I'm like, oh, okay, there's a trailer about this game that was announced 2 years ago that comes out in 6 months. Now I'll assess it.
Yeah. I think, like, I force myself to forget things a lot. Like Persona 5, for example, that was the thing. I'm just like, I'm not going to think about this. I can't. I refuse until it's, like, within spitting distance.
Yeah, that's actually one of the my prime example before I get on to the other games that I've been playing, is that I did refuse to play the first 2 Kingdom Hearts games until the third game came out, because I didn't want to play Kingdom Hearts 2, and then it's just like, no, there's this thing that's like a nebulous concept of a third game that
luckily you had
coming out.
6 games in between 2 and 3 that you would have had to work through as well. So.
Birth by Sleep, Chains of Memories, 352 over 2 days.
It's 358. It's a week shy of a year, dude. We talked about it.
358 divided by 2. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on in that franchise. It goes from 1 to 2 to 1.5 to 2.5 to 2.8.
The 2.8 jump is a bit. It's a bit of a leap.
It's harsh.
You know what my favorite one
No,
was?
don't tell him. Don't tell him, Scott. He asked me not to tell him.
Oh, okay. You know exactly.
I know
what
exactly
I was
what you were
going
gonna. I was ready to brace. It's a good bit. It's a good bit. You don't know about it yet, Brandt. Live in that world.
Yeah, no, I'll play. I guess 1.5, 2.5,
2.8,
I should play 2.8,
and then you'll get to 3.
and then I'll get to 3
Yeah.
Okay.
In 2026. So
in 2035.
we got time.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. So that was my
What
main
you're saying
reason.
about Crafted World?
Have you started it all yet?
No, not at all.
And
Okay.
I'm disappointed too.
I know, but it was a true thing. I have a lot of stuff going on just in my non-video game life, but B, I was really curious to hear about what happened about Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out, and then also whether or not Kingdom Hearts 3 was actually good. I've heard that it is good, which is nice.
We've had this conversation at least 4 times this week.
But if,
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Yeah?
The general consensus: if
good.
you're not a fan that has at least played the most relevant side games, then yeah, 3 is not going to be all that great. But if you have done that, 3 is fucking fantastic.
So I've got 6 games to play before I can play a video game, right? This is what I'm being told.
Yep.
Yes.
And this is okay. And I got a follow-up question. Then we really got to talk about games I have played. So I can get all of these video games. Can I get them in the 1.5 plus 2.5?
There's actually like a story so far bundle that has literally every Kingdom Hearts game in it.
So there's like a Kingdom Hearts orange box.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
called Kingdom Hearts: the story so far.
Isn't it like $100 or something?
It is $60.
$60.
$60
right now.
Is it
It's 40 right now, yeah.
is it available on
Mine
disc
will be 100.
and the internet?
Yep.
Okay.
It's PS4 only. But
Well,
yeah.
I
You
yeah,
are covered.
I
I'm
gathered that.
I know. It's not on Xbox.
No, that's fine.
Your preferred platform right now.
yeah, exactly. It's, as you'll hear with the other games I've been playing.
What you're saying about Crafted World is very much scratching my Woolly World itch, and I love Woolly World.
Yeah.
Did I ever sit you down and show you that like one level that I love the game? I think I did.
No, I mean, I remember we played it a little bit, but I that's one of those. There are 2 games on the Wii U that I missed that I'm going to go back to if I have a little bit of time on my hands.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions and
Wii Sports Resort.
Brandt is so sick of me. I want everyone to know it. Like he arrived at like 10 p.m. last night and he's fucking done with me.
It's been about 24 hours.
It has not yet been 24 hours. We're 10 minutes shy, but I believe at that moment Brandt's just going to get up and leave.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Yes.
I have a sealed copy on the shelf behind me.
That's awesome. No, it's just I play Red Steel 2, which isn't even a Wii U game. It's a Wii game with the Wii Motion Plus. and the
Stylized
Wii U.
graphics.
Fixes a lot of the problems.
Yeah.
Wii Motion Plus.
Wii Motion Plus.
No, it's Woolly World and Mario 3D World.
Yeah, 3D World is that one for me for sure.
Yeah.
Them adding like 3D World stuff to Mario Maker 2. Oh. I'm curious,
cool.
real quick. I know this is a total tangent. Namashine, you weren't here last week to talk about it. How did you feel about the Mario Maker 2 announcement?
That sounds cool.
Yeah. Were you as excited as me when you saw the cat suit?
Probably. I don't know how excited you were.
I was very. Look deep inside yourself. You felt the connection.
Yeah, I was stoked.
I was stoked too.
Yeah, no, I the direct dropped when I was leaving work, so I was on the subway train, and I told myself I wasn't going to watch the direct until I got home. At which point I could have just watched the entire thing, like the archive of it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But I got halfway through my commute, and it was one of those things where they're like, a train is in front of you. And I didn't want to, I guess I checked because I had an extra moment. And I saw Mario Maker 2, and I was like, good day.
Good day. It's a good day.
Good day.
Yeah. Oh, man. What else have you been playing, Brandt?
Okay, so I just recently replayed through. Everything I played is on Switch because every game that is worthwhile is on Switch. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
I've preached your Switch mentality on this
My
podcast.
gospel?
Yeah. Any game is better if it's on Switch.
It's true, and to prove that point, I replayed a game that I had played a number of years ago on it, which is Diablo 3.
Mm-hmm.
The complete as it can possibly get collection.
Something nightmare.
Exactly, and it's really, really fun. I like the loot grind games. It was something that I could kind of.
Have you heard about Anthem?
Yeah, I've heard about, like, I'm going to say that I've heard more about it than played it. In fact, I would say that in the past 2 hours, I heard more in-depth information about Anthem than I know about my parents.
All right, recording says hour 37. All right, chill.
Exactly. It's been, it's been anthemic. It sounds like a really good game. But Diablo 3 is just really fun, and it's really, really fun to play that game on the go. And it really brought home the thing that makes the Switch so cool, which is just the ability to take console experiences with you on the go. As I was playing through that game, I played it docked at home. I had to go get my car inspected, and they had to do work on it. So I went to my a car dealership, and I played Diablo 3 for I think 4 hours, which is really, really cool. And I plugged the Switch into an external battery pack that has a USB-C port on it, and it charged. The game itself is still really, really fun. It has all the expansions, so I hadn't played. I think there were some more quality and the most recent patches. There were a bunch of quality of
life stuff. Yeah,
that was really improved over I played it on the PlayStation 4 I think 4 years ago, and it just felt mechanically like a really good game. It still looked really good on the Switch's screen, which is I'm always afraid that like the 720p situation and the down-resing will make games look a little weird. It didn't in this case.
I think like still the console like when it's docked, it definitely I noticed the hit a lot more, especially like when a lot of the stuff I play is now like up-resing to 4K to some extent for the most part.
Yeah.
But like on handheld, like things just look very good on that screen.
Yeah, they did a really, really good job.
Yeah.
So that game I put I think like another 30 hours into it, and it just flew by. And then the final game that I've been playing, because it was on sale, I've been waiting for it to go on sale, and I'm only a few hours into it because it's a game that you kind of have to play more differently than most JRPGs, in my experience, is Octopath Traveler. I enjoy JRPGs. I love the art style. I like the voice acting, and I like the concept of the game. And I like what I've played so far. I'm a big Bravely Default fan, so I like the
amongst friends. Scott Guthier also a big Bravely Default fan.
I think that those. I only played the first one. I have the second one downloaded, but by that point, I was like, the 3DS I have a weird relationship with it, and I'm gonna go back to play it.
It's okay.
Yeah, the first game though,
got a whole lot of issues with it, especially balance-wise as you're going through it.
Right. I just don't know. I think like the first game, I think Bravely
First
Default,
game was fantastic.
I think it's like one of the secret best 3DS games. I think that
yeah,
game,
I'd agree.
I think that it got like lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, it feels like it did for sure.
But that game is really good, and it's so good that it changed, I think, Square Enix's mind on a few things, because they weren't anticipating the fan response to it. And people were like, hey, it looks like Square Enix made a really good Final Fantasy game. And Octopath has some of those vibes in the battle system. But what I like, I guess, best about it is that because it works in this way where you're finding out all the backstories about a whole bunch of these characters, it feels like you could pick up and put it down really, really easily. So like I'm still gathering all of the characters, and the first scenario for all of them seems to take about like 90 minutes. And that's like a fun game session for me. I meet a new character, I understand their backstory, I pal around with them with my current characters, I learn their fight style and their abilities, I solve one of their problems, which ends up leading them on this quest with me. So there's like a really good setup. And I put the game down, and then 2 or 3 days later, I get up, I start playing again, I meet the next character, and I do that same exact gameplay cycle, and it's fun every single time. And I'm looking forward to getting all the characters and managing them, because at some point you leave people behind, then you only have your one party at a time with only a few characters. But I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. I think the one thing that's a little bit weird, and there is there's an in-game log, so you can refer back to things that have happened. Keeping all the stories straight is a little bit difficult, because there are 8 contemporaneous storylines going on. So it's not like, You meet this character, you do all the things, their entire story is resolved, then you meet the next character and you resolve their entire story. It is like the bit-by-bit mechanic that I like because it makes the game fit in with my life. Does make it a little bit harder, at least at the beginning, to follow. But again, the stories that I've heard so far and the gameplay that I've experienced so far is really, really fun. And again, being able to take a full JRPG like that on the go, really, it feels to me like a throwback to playing the JRPGs that I played mostly on the Game Boy Advance. So like the Golden Suns or the re-releases of the first 6 Final Fantasy games. And it's just a really, really cool feeling. And so what I've played of that game so far is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very cool.
Nice.
I know you also, and you didn't put this on your list, but I'm just curious. So we didn't really talk about it. You'd finished Okami, which I'd been pushing you to do, and you're like, put it on Switch and I'll play it. And then they announced it for Switch, and I was like, fucking let's go, boy. How did you feel like after wrapping up? Like that's like a 30 to 40 hour game. Did you get it at the end of that? Did you feel like you understood why Okami is so revered?
Yeah, I did, but it was one of those things when we had a brief conversation about it. Is that game has like several endings.
Yeah.
There's like several points where I was like, all right, cool. I feel like I've beaten the game, and it keeps going, and it's still good, and it goes in very strange directions.
Yeah,
like the ending, the back 20% of that game is bonkers.
Yeah.
If you haven't played Okami, the last 20% of that game is bonkers.
it's buck wild.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I didn't think okay, and then this person, and then
Everything from like when you open that gate on is crazy.
yeah, when you find out one of the main characters' backstories towards the back part of that game, it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And it did get me the like cutscene before the final cutscene did get me a little verklempt. Like it was like emotionally satisfying. The game is really good. It holds up. I bought it for the Wii because I thought at the time that the paintbrush mechanic was like the Wiimote was tailored for that type of thing, and I fell right off of it.
The waggle to attack is what ruined that on the Wii, I think.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. And so I was afraid to pick it up for the Switch because I didn't know you hold the R button to start, to bring up the paintbrush and like how that felt fine. Mm-hmm. And you can also use the touchscreen if you want.
Yeah, that's how it was originally on PS2 as well. So
exactly. And it's a good game. It holds up, and that's a game. Again, we were going back to talking about things that are stylized. The graphic style really holds up, and I understand that it's an HD remaster, so they touched things up. But boy, howdy, does that game look incredible on the Switch's screen and docked to a television.
Yeah, cool thing about that HD remaster, at least it was true the PS3 version and then the later versions too. They actually rendered the game in 4K and then down-resed it to 1080, which is super cool, and it just looks that much sharper because of it.
Yeah, no, that game looks beautiful and it holds up. I think some of the dialogue is like there's some, one of the main characters
is very perverted.
Yeah, in a way where I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like in 2019 and 2018, this does not play the way that it did in 2006. And I understand that like you're going for this thing where this character is supposed to represent this like.
And the best part is they never kind of like. They don't change in that regard. Like they evolve as a character as the game goes on, but like that's never really like they don't get better about that.
No, and it's just like really, it's just really, really weird. And so I had to remember where games were at that point, and where we are now. And I was like, I understand that you really can't change that at all. Like that's not a thing that like the game would be different, and like objectively, I think the story would be a little bit more, I guess, interesting, but like I don't know, that is the only thing that felt like it didn't particularly hold up, and that's just that's less of a game thing and more of a cultural thing.
It reminds me a lot for this only held Nobishin, and I apologize for the rest of the podcast, but for listeners out there, maybe it reminds me a lot of the monk character from Inuyasha, like that. The way that character was like would not fly. Yeah, and The Isun is very much that character in Okami. I get
Yeah, even going back to and this is a character that this specific type of character does show up in a bunch of like Japanese media, like even like the Master Roshi trope.
Yeah.
In the Dragon Ball franchise is like a part of it, and it's just very bizarre to go back to all that stuff and be like, oh, because we were already one step removed from it as a Western audience, and like the West has its own cultural stuff, cultural reconciliation that's happening, and cultural tropes. But that's just like there's a thing that there's a caricature that exists in Japan. It was brought over in the West because there was a segment of the population that was interested in Japanese culture, and then that thing that happened like a quarter of a century ago is now, or in the case of Okami, I guess 13 years ago, is now being viewed by a modern lens, and it was kind of a trip there, where I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it is something that in a game that feels surprisingly like modern, like it feels very old.
Yeah, archaic in an odd way.
I totally get you.
But yes, Switch all the way. I'm looking forward to playing Tetris 99. Oh, I guess the final thing that I say, and I apologize for monopolizing this part of the podcast.
Sorry, we spent 45 minutes talking about Anthem.
I understand, but for the for the cast members and also for the audience to hear my voice over and over again, is that something that I've been pleasantly surprised about is the regular cadence of games being released on the Switch Online's, I guess, quote-unquote, virtual console or like NES app. This year, but this past month we got Kirby's Adventure. This is the first Kirby game, and then Super Mario Brothers 2. And those games are just fun to play on the Switch.
Super Mario USA?
Yeah, Super Mario USA. Doki Doki Moral Panic. Being released in 2019.
Not to be confused with Doki Doki Literature Club. Two different games.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, and both of those games are fun, and it's fun. It's nice and cool that the Switch is getting these classic retro games, and we all, I think, hope or assume at some point Nintendo will open this up to include games from other systems. I'm looking at you, Super Nintendo. But it's very, very cool that every month, as a subscriber, you're getting 2 new games, kind of for classic games for free. And as I was talking to you about this yesterday. I'm just hoping that they have. It doesn't seem as though there's a particular like theme every month, but it would be cool to have a JRPG month where you just release the first Dragon Warrior and the first Final Fantasy, because those 2 games are multi-hour experiences that you're effectively getting for nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're paying either a few bucks a month or $20 for the entire year. Yeah. And you're getting these classic games. So that's been really, really cool. It's again, it's not like I was getting up every morning with a hankering to play Super Mario Brothers 2, but like, presented with it for free in an easy to play way, like I'll mess around with Birdo on a Thursday night. You know what I mean?
Write it down, Nobishin. Write it down. But yeah, I feel you. Yeah. You were the only person that's brought it to my attention how that service is evolved specifically. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I because of the way that my life works and the way that I game, the Nintendo Switch is kind of the perfect console for me at this point. And it's cool that I definitely think that their online infrastructure needs work. Anybody who plays the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate competitively or seriously can tell you that there are a bunch of problems that they need to iron out, especially for a service that you're paying for. Mm-hmm. But the other parts of the service, because when they announced it, they said that there were like 5 components of it, and one of them was online play, and the other one was like fun,
and then also one that we don't know. Like they put out that question block, and they still haven't said what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. But they're delivering on the quality of life and cool extras that just could justify the service, even if you're not a hardcore gamer. Again, I think that their effort should be put into making sure that they have enough servers to handle a bunch of players at once, and that infrastructure should be as quick and smooth as possible. But I'm really enjoying stuff like Tetris 99 being available for free to subscribers, and of course the retro games. So that's really cool. So again, yeah, that's the stuff that I've been playing.
I love it.
Sure.
We'll get you We'll get you in Kingdom Hearts yet.
Yeah, of course.
I believe.
I look forward to coming on a podcast. We could even do maybe a separate one where
I will.
Where I just tell you all about Kingdom Hearts.
You're telling me that Nobishin and Scott wouldn't show up for that show because they would?
And I'm just sitting here.
I would.
I could subscribe because what's the name of the story so far?
The story so far.
I will play this game and I'll keep like a running diary.
Please.
And I'll come on the show and be like, listen, 1.5 is more like 1.75, and then
let me tell you about my boy Xehanort.
Exactly. And then I'm gonna have a whole bunch of. I'm gonna talk to you about the bestiary for like 45 minutes.
Yeah. I like the heartless with the large body with the big tummy.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yes.
Tony, we kind of breezed through it. Have you played anything outside of Anthem this week?
A little bit of Stardew Valley, but that's.
Oh, nice. Anything in particular bringing back? Was it multiplayer?
It was
friend asked, "Do you want to play Stardew Valley?" And I said, "Okay."
Okay.
What console?
PC.
Nice.
Personal computing platform.
Cool.
It's the only console that I own.
I love it, Tony. You know, I've been revisiting Stardew Valley a lot, and that game makes me happy. So, I feel you. Is that all, though?
Yeah.
Scott, what about you? Anything outside of the Kingdom Hearts 3 spoiler chatter that we'll get into?
Just the Stardew Valley thing, which was quite literally today.
Okay, cool. I played some video games. I didn't really play a lot, and we already talked about Anthem plenty. Been replaying Kingdom Hearts 1.
Nice.
That game is great.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's the lens of kind of seeing everything and then going back to the first game. It's very different, and it's a similar deal of like when I replayed that game. I think it might have been last year or 2 years ago at this point. Of like it tried a lot of stuff. It has like their Metroidvania aspects to Kingdom Hearts 1, like where it is set up in a way for you to go through those worlds a second time after you've kind of gotten a high jump or this or that, that's never really revisited in that franchise. It's very clear, like, one, they wanted to try all these different kinds of things. And I think that's just great. Like, you see so much, forgive the pun, heart in that game. And it's... I don't know, like my whole perspective on that franchise has shifted so much now that it's kind of over in a way. It's over, like part of it is over and part of it is just beginning, right? And yeah, I don't know. That game is great. Big thing this week, I don't know what compelled me to do so. I've been jumping around. Like I'm in a very Nobishin mood where I like played like 30 minutes of 12 different things on Thursday or Wednesday, right? And which normally I'll settle into a thing and just stick with it for like 8 hours straight. Because I'm a psychopath. But I started up Hollow Knight again. I just started a new Hollow Knight game.
Nice.
And like I played most of that game when I was like on vacation last year. Like I was on a cruise with my family, and it was like I had the Switch, and that was really all I was playing on it, which is perfect because fuck knows that game is infinite long. It just goes on forever.
Yeah.
It's like so good, you guys. Like everything about like how that game is paced out and how it doles out your powers, your abilities, early exploration in that world, and the visual cues that it gives you to where you can go and where you can't go, where you should go, where you shouldn't go, is just I don't know if there is a game quite like it out there. Obviously it is lifting this format from Metroid or Castlevania, and it is adding its own spin to it, but like more and more that feeling that I had when we talked about it, like Game of the Year, of like they out Super Metroid, like I never thought I would find a game that I think is in every way, shape, and form better than Super Metroid at what it is doing, right? But I feel that so passionately about Hollow Knight.
You might even say it's irrationally passionate.
It's
for you to
irrational.
feel this way.
Yeah. It isn't, though. I know Moises Tavares out there is like championing me.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know. That game is just there's nothing like it, and it is so special. A lot of it has been, I think, like Silksong being announced, and how incredible that looks, and
That's so rad. Like just the way that came. Like people were expecting DLC, and instead they get an entire game.
Yeah, and I sat down and watched it. They did like a 20-minute like vloggy video of that game, of like when they announced it, of like, hey, here's like what we, just so you know, like what we're doing. Kickstarter facts of like, hey, if you paid for Hollow Knight to get Kickstarted, like you're getting this game too. Like, don't worry about it. It's super awesome. And they alluded to, so they talked about like Hollow Knight's Steel Heart mode or Steel Soul mode or whatever, which is basically it's a roguelike version of Hollow Knight where if you die once, it's over. And they talked about they're trying to implement that with a twist in a Silksong. My speculation is that it will be a much more roguelike version of that, where it's kind of like procedural power-ups, like you get things in a random order, and essentially it is more inviting to being a run-based thing. That's what my hope is. And now I have a record of this speculation, so if it comes true, like the possible smaller handheld only Switch, I'll know, and I'll be able to show people the receipts. But yeah, I don't know. Hollow Knight is so cool, and just the idea that there's gonna be another one at some point in the near future just gives me chills thinking about it.
Do you think it's 2019?
I don't. I think it's probably February next year or something. I bet it's like 1 year after.
Yeah. It
could be late this year, but I feel like if they felt confident in it being this year, they would have said so, you know? That's my feeling. But to be fair, like Team Cherry is pretty good about, they don't like to say a firmer thing until they know for sure, right? It was a thing of like, I'm waiting for the Switch version for literally an entire year, and it's like, all right, and it's out today. Bye. So, yeah, I appreciate their kind of hesitancy with throwing dates and whatnot on things. And I played some more Tetris 99, which I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with. Now that I understand the medal system, which
I'm a little confused by the medal system.
So
because I played a couple matches and it was like, all right, I guess I'll just play Tetris, and people are attacking me.
So if you KO someone, if you knock out somebody, you get a part of a medal.
Okay.
And if you get a certain amount of parts, I think it's 5, you'll get like 1 medal, and then when you send lines to someone, you send a little bit more than you would if you didn't have a medal.
Okay.
So there is a very mechanical incentive for knocking out opponents, because if you get to the late game of a match and you don't have any medals and everyone else does, they're sending way more to you than you are to them, so you are at an extreme disadvantage.
Okay.
So I think also if you kill someone with a medal, you get that medal as well. So by the end, a lot of people are working with 3 or 4 medals. So like when you were to say send 4 lines to someone, you would send like 6, 7, or 8 instead. And that's
and how do you send lines to them? If you complete lines,
you're targeting somebody at any given time. What I like too is, so you can use I think it's the left stick. You can target any player on the board. You can just pick one by hand, or I think you can use the right stick. It's either that or vice versa, and you can target knockouts. So people who are close to being knocked out, the people that are attacking you, the people that are defending themselves, or just random.
Okay. So
you can kind of on the fly hot switch it to whatever is going to be the best option for you at that moment. So you are.
I guess I just get a little overwhelmed by all the lines, and I have trouble keeping up with the UI of the game more so than anything.
Yeah.
It's a little. I feel like it could be communicated a little more clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that game would benefit a lot from just like a 1-minute tutorial. You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think like T-spins and Tetris clears and whatnot are pretty self-explanatory at this point. But you know, it is a very bare bone. It gets a lot of forgiveness for just being a thing where you open it up and it says play, and like that's it, really.
Yeah.
So, but apparently there's like people data mined it to see that there's more stuff in there. So, or there's more stuff that's going to come. So,
Tetris 100.
Tetris 100 finally. No, but like 2v2 or 2v all or like a one versus computer, like a solo mode.
Yeah.
Is apparently going to come. So Tetris 99 is very cool. I can't play it on the Pro controller because I think the D-pad, I just can't. Like, it's funny because Kyle Bossman brought this up on this week's Easy Allies podcast, and he was like, I can't play on the Pro controller. And everyone else did not agree with him, and I'm just shouting at my computer like, I understand! So, yeah, like it is definitely more comfortable with the Joy-Con grip where all the buttons are separated out, because if you hit up, it's a hard drop. And any hard drop fuck up, like it happens with me way more in that game than it did in like Tetris Effect. And it's the Pro controller and the Pro controller D-pad. It just fucks me up. But I don't know. Tetris 99 it's a cool idea, so it gets a lot of slack for me. So,
and it's technically free.
Yeah, it's like there was no point where I wasn't going to purchase the Nintendo Online, so it's a no-brainer. I love Tetris too, so it's just another way for me to play Tetris anywhere at any time. So, I wish I guess I don't know if there's like you get more hits or you send more lines for doing T-spins. If you send more lines for doing combos or for doing Tetrises or all clears, like I don't know what is the best way to send the most lines. So like when I've come in like second place before, and it's like, oh man, like I don't know what I could be doing better. And then Tony sent me this video of this guy that got 20 kills. It's wild.
Jeez,
it's wild. That guy was very good though.
Yeah, well,
to be fair, like that match has a lot of hard pendulum swings of like he got very close to being KO'd and then he came back. It was very good. I do watch the things you send me, Tony, if I don't respond.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, that guy's T-spins are fucking nuts.
Yeah, his T-spins were buck fucking wild. He did like an L spin, which I didn't even know you could fucking do. It was crazy. So Tetris 99 is okay. I jumped around a lot of things this week. Like I played some Apex Legends. I played a few different. Like I played some Evil Within 2.
Wow.
Yeah, just to tell you like the kind of weird jam sesh I had. I'm still working through Resident Evil 2 Side B, stuff like that. So I'm all over the place.
Odds and sods.
Nabishin, video games. Fill me with video games, if I may.
I don't really have that much to add. Like all the stuff I played, I've been bouncing off a lot of stuff lately.
How is Crackdown 3 an option?
This is the big one.
To you.
As a humble podcaster.
You don't have to be humble.
I think the thing about Crackdown 3, and particularly for me, seeing like I was one of the people who was saying like for Crackdown 3 specifically to say like as long as they take their time and as long as they put out a good game, like I think that's enough, and that's all they really need.
Yeah.
Because like I felt like all the extra time that they put towards it will like hopefully like make it polished, make it good, and make it just a fun time to go around and just be in that game.
Yeah.
And for me particularly, like I think the game is polished, at least as far as like the single player stuff. I haven't touched the multiplayer, but I heard that wasn't all that great.
Sure.
But I think the single player is polished for like the few hours that I played of it. It just that doesn't do enough, I feel, for it to be like a sequel. Like I don't think the game evolved enough. And sure, it's like people are like it because it's Crackdown 1 again, but like being someone who has played something like Saints Row 4, like I don't know, like 5 years ago or whatever, where like I felt like like the movement was better and like the shooting was better and like even getting around was better. I just don't think Crackdown 3 does enough to like really like enhance the series. I mean, it doesn't have to be like something like going from God of War 3 to God of War or something like that, but I'm just saying like I don't think the game evolved enough. Like I feel like a good jump would have been like between Gears 3 and Gears 4. Like some people complained that like that game didn't jump far enough, but like I think that game did like a lot of good stuff, like as far as story, as far as characters, and obviously
I feel like
visually.
they really find their storytelling in Gears 4. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think Crackdown did enough from like the first one to this one now. It's just an unfortunate thing. Like, and I know people do like it. I know certain people who do like it. And good for them. But like, it's for me. Like, it doesn't do enough, honestly.
Yeah. I haven't played it yet. I'm looking forward to playing it. It's been a busy month, but
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird, dude. Because like, it's a Game Pass game, and like, because of that is like, I know the game will find success just because of that. But like the whole thing with Game Pass with me is like it's kind of like with PlayStation Plus. Even games will go like when I know something is free, like I'm just not compelled to play it at all for whatever reason. That's just a me thing. Like I feel like
my games.
It's weird, but yes, like when I feel like I put my money down for it and like I put into it, like I just want to play it more. And when I get it for free, it's just like I'll play when I want to. So like I'm not really compelled to play that. Like, I'm still compelled to play Devil May Cry 2 for whatever the fuck reason. But that's what I've been playing. So
I have Crackdown 3 locked and loaded, installed, ready to go.
Same.
Some point, I might play it.
I could get Game Pass and pick up Crackdown 3. I'm just not going to.
I mean, I don't know why you would, Scott.
I don't know why any of you would either.
I'm a massive Crackdown fan. That's why I would.
Fair. It's more of a
Massive
morbid
Crackdown
curiosity for me. Of like, we waited how many years for this game? Like,
But like, why did you wait?
I didn't. It's just people did. In theory, Alex Van Aken waited.
Oh, I waited
many years for this game.
I did many years.
So,
Yeah,
I don't know. Crackdown. It's weird that they're on Xbox One. There's a separate launcher for their
right. The
multiplayer.
campaign.
Yeah,
It's like that on PC too.
it's so weird. It's everything about Crackdown 3 perplexes me. In every way,
I think the Crackdown series is gone after this
for sure.
like it's just a very weird game. Because like you would say like when you play like the first 30 minutes of it, it's like okay, this game is like it has a vision, it has a way it's gonna do things, and like it seems really cool. But then it's like as soon as like you're off the first cutscene, off the plane as the Terry Crews character is like, it's just like you're doing the gameplay loop, and like if you're into it, you're into it, and if you're not, you're not. It's like it's either like you're in or you're not. So
yeah. Are there agility orbs?
Everywhere.
Oh,
Everywhere.
Daddy.
It's the Buzz Lightyear meme where it's just like agility orbs everywhere.
That's all I need, man.
I've never played a Crackdown game, so maybe like there's like one good one in me. You know what I mean?
I think co-op's the way to go with that game. Honestly,
It is. That's how I played Crackdown 1.
Yeah, so that's probably why I didn't enjoy it as much. I think playing with other people like will significantly increase your enjoyment of that game.
Cool. Hit me up, Alex. We'll make it happen.
Like I completely forgot that was when they first showed that game. It was supposed to be 4-player co-op. I heard that recently. I was like, oh wow, it was supposed to be 4-player. That would probably make the game even more fun for a lot of people. But okay.
Yeah. What's the frame rate on that bad boy?
30, solid 30.
All right. I hear it's
really good HDR.
I hear it's capped on PC too. Isn't
weird.
it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's wild. Man. Yeah, definitely morbid curiosity. I want everyone to know also, just interrupt real quick. I did buy a Cloud amiibo today.
I was there.
Player 1, Player 2.
Player 2. Bummed a little, but it was all Best Buy had. But I'm looking at him right now, and he just looks so good.
I've purchased one amiibo in my life.
What was it?
It was Wedding Mario.
Very nice.
I
Did
want
you put it in your mouth?
I want to get 8-bit Mario.
8-bit Mario is cool.
I want to get a custom amiibo.
I think that's just called a statue.
No, I want to press it, and I want a Smash Brothers character to show up.
I want a real life looking amiibo.
I want a human with an NFC chip in them.
I think that's also kind of the Wii Fit trainer. Y'all are just naming things that exist under weird names.
Yeah, dude. I want it to be Nintendo branded. All right.
Okay, then just print the name Nintendo on it.
You're right.
Just in the bottom.
Listen, you can call whatever you want. You can call a fork an amiibo.
Just put a Nintendo brand on it
Just
and
put
put an
it-
NFC chip in it.
Exactly. I'm sure they'll put it in everything.
It's true. Forktacular. What were you gonna say, Nobshin?
But other than that though, yeah, I'm still just in my weird place until like Devil May Cry comes out. Like I booted up Kingdom Hearts 3 for a while, and like I still can't go back to that game yet.
It's okay.
I was in a bit of a rut before Apex. I was like, what do I play? I guess I'll play Fortnite.
Let me tell you about Hollow Knight. It's good. Nothing wrong with a good old fashioned Fortnite. It's what the kids are into. So,
Yeah.
at the very least, some kid will like it.
Just one more thing before I did, because I have to get some sleep for work. But like
You're good.
I played some Captain Toad Treasure Tracker again. Like I bought it like day one. I just never really went back to it again because the DLC they announced. Since I knew I got new content now, I got that game again, and that game's still great, still visually good. It's a big boy gamer game. I like it a lot.
Okay. You have to duck out an option, get some sleepies.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead and throw your bet up in there if you haven't already.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
I'll make sure you will. Have a good night, bud. Get some sleep.
Yeah, happy belated birthday, and it was nice speaking to you.
Yep. As always, guys. Bye.
Bye.
And he's gone. I didn't bring a lot of news. There's not a lot I want to talk about, so I won't necessarily do a news segment. I do want to talk about Reggie Fils-Aimé did announce that he is retiring as the president of Nintendo of America. He is stepping down as of April, taking his place. I know, like, Scott, I don't know if you're familiar with like the kind of higher ups at Nintendo. His replacement is a man named Doug Bowser. That's a real man. It's a real man.
You know what really cracks me up though?
Yeah.
Because the Doug Bowser thing, right? Okay.
Yeah, of course. No relation.
But when he signs like an official form, he has to sign like Bowser, Doug.
Yeah. Bowser first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's great. What a serendipitous world. I mean, like, to be fair, Doug Bowser was born years before Mario was ever a thing. It just worked out. Do you think he was like a 23-year-old grad student and then Nintendo like put out Super Mario Bros. And he liked it and he was like, I'm gonna fucking run this company someday.
I mean, well, actually, he was referred to as King Koopa until I think Super Mario World, so he would have been his 29-year-old man in your scenario.
Yeah, true.
Maybe he was the one who made it Bowser.
Maybe he was.
The prophecies foretold. There would be a gentleman from, I don't know, the Midwest.
And so a Doug came, and so there was Bowser.
I mean, Bowser's named after a band member from Sha Na Na. Band Sha Na Na. There's a band called Sha Na Na.
Excuse me?
They played Woodstock.
Oh.
One of the band members, their surname was Bowser.
Do you think Doug was named after that? His last name?
I don't know if Doug Bowser is related to the Bowser of Sha Na Na, but there's a lot
But
of
he is related to the Bowser
of Super
Mushroom
Mario
Kingdom.
Brothers. Yeah.
Yes, his mother's maiden name was Koopa. I think that they probably should have known at that point that he was destined for greatness.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Was he
a big
Michelle?
deal. Like Reggie joined Nintendo, I believe, in 2004, and obviously he's we all know Reggie. We all love Reggie to some extent. He's a very likable, like affable person who he's got so much charisma. He's been in all these silly videos to some extent, and from serious to silly to whatever, he's always been kind of down for whatever marketing scheme Nintendo is going to do. I put out a tweet saying, like, I think Reggie specifically was a big first foot in, like, video game executives speaking directly to video game consumers. Around the same time we have the Kaz Hirai's, the Jack Trentons, the God, what's his name? The Microsoft dude.
Man.
Not Matt. With the hair flip. I see the hair flip in my head, and Do you remember the guy pre Spencer?
Don Matrick.
Don Matrick. Yeah, there's a Matt in there somewhere. And like Reggie really ushered, I think, that era, or at least he helped make it seem like a suit wasn't just a suit, right? They could be a personality. They could be someone who like cares, like someone that is beyond just like a number person that comes out and says, "Hey, like we like putting smiles on people's faces," right? That was always Reggie's thing.
I mean, let's be honest. He was at that point the video game industry's version of Steve Jobs.
Yeah, he was.
He delivered the company's message effectively, and he was speaking, you're right, primarily to the audience of Nintendo gamers. And I think if you're a part of any group of people who enjoy or who like a thing, it's always heartening when somebody who's on the quote unquote inside it feels like they're speaking directly to you, as opposed to marketing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes out the middleman in a lot of ways. And if you look back at the last year, you can see like Reggie was in a lot less things. So there was clearly an intent to this has probably been in the works for a while. I think it's cool that Reggie gets to go out on top, right? Like he's leaving Nintendo, he's retiring completely as like at a point where Nintendo is just killing it left and right.
Yeah.
He gets to be remembered really fondly in a similar vein to Iwata. And he's in, it's a thing of like, he's in great health. He's just like ready to step down, ready to move on. He put out, it was Nintendo like of America tweeted out this very sweet message from him. And he talked about like how Nintendo has had like a big effect on him personally, and how he was very proud to be a part of something that helps make a lot of people happy. This is very, like, I saw a lot of people saying, like, they got emotional watching that video, and I think there is room for it just because from My Body Is Ready to now, right, like, Reggie has been okay with being a little bit of the butt of the joke, and he's just comes across as a genuine and cool dude. And it's cool. It is cool that we live in, like, the Reggie legacy world of 2004 to 2019, like, this really influential, awesome person that was like really inspiring to a lot of people. I was going to ask, any of you all have a favorite Reggie moment?
If I'm going to go first, because you just looked at me, it has to be the first time that we ever heard of the dude.
Mm-hmm.
Because from our perspective, or at least from my perspective, I was 13 at the time. Mm-hmm. But I had never heard of this person, and I had an image of what Nintendo was like. As a company, and here's a dude comes out on stage and says, "I'm Reggie." That's okay. So we know who you are. What are you about? I'm about kicking ass and taking names, and we're about making games. Has there ever been a better introduction of any executive?
Probably not.
On a stage. That says everything that you want to say. It is the marketing or the introduction equivalent of the shortest story ever written, which is 6 words long. Child's shoes for sale, never worn. That was like, he just made his mission statement known in effectively a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
He's about kicking ass. He's about taking names, and they're about making games.
Yeah, that was like right leading into the Metroid Prime announcement, right?
That was it was the DS announcement.
Okay.
And so he set the tone for that entire presentation. The year before, Nintendo had spent a majority of E3 talking about Pac-Man Versus. It was not great.
Mm-hmm.
And here was Reggie talking about everything that we announced today is going to make you really, really happy. It might not be aimed at hardcore gamers, but we're trying to satisfy everybody. And here's some cool new technology, and here are these excellent games, and you're going to hear more from me. And every time that he appeared in any sort of a Nintendo Direct or a E3 presentation, I always felt that he was super duper genuine, and he was telling me information that I really wanted to know. So, congratulations. You earned your retirement at 57, and we're probably never going to really hear from him again because he wants to hang out with his family. He's not moving on to another role.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always going to be a part of the, I guess, Nintendo pantheon. It was really good to have such a strong voice during some of the low points where I'm thinking about the end of the GameCube era was kind of like a little weird, and then of course the entire Wii U era. He was part of the face of the company when the 3DS got its massive price cut because nobody was going to pay $250 for the original 3DS
Except for me.
except for you. But it was weird because your official title was ambassador.
Yeah.
Alex
I am
O'Neill.
an Nintendo 3DS ambassador.
It's true. It's very weird. You have that on your passport.
Yep.
And it gets you into all the airport lounges.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was his introduction to all of us, set the tone for the entire 14-year run because he started off genuine, and I guess he ended with that video very genuine. So it's a cool through line.
Yeah, it is cool. Alex, what about you? Do you have a favorite Reggie moment?
Well said, first of all.
Oh, thank you very much.
So I actually wasn't really aware of Reggie's existence.
You hate
until-
Reggie. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Like
Fuck
Nintendo
that
was
guy.
really a faceless company for me until 2012, 2013. Like I wasn't really into the gaming industry like that. I wasn't looking behind the scenes. I was playing the games, and I didn't really have an interest for who was making it at the time. And so I didn't really understand who Reggie was until 7 years ago.
He's a man from
Um,
Pizza Hut. That's all you need to know.
He's a man from
Yep.
the Bronx.
Yeah.
Yep. My favorite Reggie moment is because I will always remember Reggie as he was sometimes the butt of the joke, like you said, but he was aware of it, and I think he was genuine, like you said, and wholesome, and I think people appreciate him for that. I think my favorite recent Reggie moment is at E3, the spoken word that he did at the beginning. He opened up the E3, I think E3 2018 or 2017, and it was like, where booths buzz and lights glow, this is gaming.
Yeah.
But like he was so sincere
epic.
about it.
Yeah.
He was so sincere about it, even though it was kind of memey, but you understood like how passionate he was about his job and how he was very into it, and he was fine getting up there and saying something like that because he believed in everything that he said. Even though, yeah, like I said, a little memey, but to him completely genuine and just full of passion and energy. And he's great. He's great.
Yes. Scott, Tony, either of you guys have a favorite Reggie moment?
Man, like every time he's up on stage and he is himself.
Anytime he suplexes people on
He's
stage.
probably one of my favorite like stage people from the E3 and all that
great.
shit.
Yeah. He's just likable, like I said,
Yeah.
What about you, Scott? Any particular things come to mind?
What is it?
Puppet Reggie?
No, the Smash Bros. For a
Oh yeah, with Iwata.
teaser.
Yeah, yeah.
Him like
Oh, and like when he was it like when he had the announcement of the 3DS?
it was the announcement of the. It was an announcement of both the game and the game with Mii Fighters.
Oh yes, the Iwata versus Reggie fight CG like animation thing that they did for Smash Bros. For 3DS. Yeah, that was wild. It's a very good one. Yeah, I mean like recent moment, but like, and it's not necessarily exclusively a Reggie moment, but like his participation in it was very big. Was the Game Awards, Phil Spencer, Sean Layden, and Reggie Fils-Aimé moment with the three of them on stage together just last December. Like I think it takes a lot of courage for a company to be able to do that with your quote unquote competitors, especially like Layden and Spencer on stage. Like I know on the Microsoft end of things, there's definitely no animosity, but PlayStation has definitely taken direct shots at Microsoft in recent history. But like Nintendo is so like on their own island, to see like the big three there together was huge. And like Reggie being the guy from Nintendo there, I think speaks to how important he is. The president of Nintendo of America. He was Nintendo for a lot of American people. And obviously that's a worldwide company, but it was a big moment.
He was the Nintendo for a lot of non-Americans too.
Yeah. And I think like he just himself represented a lot of what that company stands for. And I think he will continue to do so even if he's not in the limelight. But yeah, I wish Reggie the best. I'm excited for the reign of Bowser. Bowser's reign. It's gonna be a good time. Doug Bowser is a fun dude. You know, I've seen him in few things. Like he's been in a couple of directs. He's not had like the spotlight in the same way, but
Yeah.
He's really fun and he's got a lot of energy, and I think he will be able to fill his shoes in a fun way and add a new kind of flavor to Nintendo Directs. Obviously, we'll get a better feel for that come E3 when we see the first kind of post-Reggie era E3. But yeah, end of an era. I wish him all the best. Good luck, Reggie, with your retirement. I hope you get some rest.
Here's a big question, though. Which video game publication is going to have the exclusive interview with Doug Bowser joining, replacing Reggie, and will they call it Bowser's Inside Story?
No, veto, the end. Polygon, weirdly enough.
It's true. It's Jason Schreier writing for Polygon.
Yeah. I can't find my adapter for my headphones, so I won't be able to play the music, but it's time for the mail sack. Burn the bridges, Brandt. Shut it all down.
Burn the bridges.
You can be a part of the show in a variety of ways. You can send your emails to the email address mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 404-590-1337. Standard long distance fees do apply. Standard long distances do apply.
Those distances, man.
And you can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ like these fine folks did. We will answer them on the show. Jake P. 47, Jacob Palmer, who was on last week's podcast, tweets us saying, how'd y'all do on this Pokemon Go event? I don't know what he's talking about.
Neither do I.
No one did it.
Never heard of Pokemon Go.
Go with
What
God.
the fuck is that? I know that they banned me.
Pokemon Go, I was
so-
on Irrational Passions in 2016.
Yeah.
The last time I played that
Yeah,
game.
I got banned from Pokemon Go. I'll never play again.
I got banned from Pokemon Go too for killing a Pokemon.
Yeah. Fucking monster.
You actually ran over a Mew with a truck. It was very ironic.
Fucked up. Yeah, it was very ironic. Somebody kept pushing it, I swear. Nicole Humphrey asks, at NMH2105, who are some of your favorite villainous characters? Doesn't actually have to be a villain. A few of mine are Severus Snape, Scrappy-Doo, and Ben Linus from Lost. Those are all good picks, actually.
Yeah.
Except for Scrappy-Doo.
Ben Linus is a good pick.
Ben Linus is a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Scrappy is kind of an awful pick.
Yeah, I agree, Scott. I'm not trying to put you on blast, Nicole.
Scrappy Doo is
Not,
great.
I don't disagree with the categorization of a villain,
Yeah,
but that person's just bad all around.
yeah. Not a
Like
fan
in
of
execution.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like the live action Scooby-Doo situation or the Scrappy-Doo like spin-off cartoon show with it where it was just Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy. Like, what's some of your favorite villains, Brandt? Across the board.
Boy.
Or villainous characters. She does. I feel like leave it open to be anti-heroes here as well.
All right, now I'm just trying to think. I'm gonna do the throwback to when you asked me my favorite video game of all time. I think Ingo, one of the proprietors of Lon Ranch.
Yeah.
He was kind of cool because he got seduced by Ganondorf.
And fucked by Ganondorf. I'm sorry, Brandt.
The Happy Mask salesman in that game is pretty. I think he might be the villain based on what happens next. He's collecting a lot of weird masks in a lot of weird places.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe shouldn't have picked up the one with the face on it. It's heart shaped. And do I have any other ones from that particular game? You know what?
Do you want me to give you some time to think?
No, you know what? I'm actually gonna go for it. I think that as kind of like schmaltzy as he ended up being, because we've seen him a lot before, Ganondorf in that game was a pretty good villain. When he turned into Ganon, I think that was a little much.
Really?
It was a little extra.
I loved it, dude.
No, I understood, but it was one of those things where at the time I was like, more? I did a lot.
I did a lot, dude. Just die. All right.
Right, but Ganondorf is a villain, especially. I'm trying to think. Thinking about when you collect the 3 spiritual stones, you get into the same room as the Master Sword, and he just says some really evil stuff about he wants to take everything over.
Yeah, he ruins the sacred land.
Yeah, so
Turns
there
it
you
into
go.
a nightmare world.
It's fucked. That was sacred.
It was sacred.
Yeah, and he was just being a jerk.
How dare he?
Snape is a big one for me. I'm a big Snape fan. There are people that hate Snape. I don't get it. I guess I get it to some extent, but
Good
whatever.
villain.
I think he's a good antagonist. Recent video game antagonist that I love is Duke from Tales of Vesperia. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to kind of give away his role in that story too much, but I love how he falls into that role and how he settles into that role. He's just like it's a similar thing for your point of reference, Tony, of Gaius from Tales of Xillia, of like this person that just adamantly stands for something, and it just so happens to be the opposite of what you stand for, and so things are going to collide. Gaius is another great example. I think Gaius is a great villain from Tales of Xillia. I'm trying to think like of my favorite things, like this argument for like Joel from The Last of Us. I think that's a very good villainous character with a great kind of complex nature, very reminiscent of like Linus from Lost, to some extent John Locke from Lost, the man of faith, and kind of like where his role takes him. I'm trying to think. The Duke is the big standout one that I really want to highlight. It's difficult for me to think of like all media ever. Like, what's my favorite and least favorite villain? Those are the ones off the top of my head. Tony, what about you?
I don't know. None really come to mind.
None of the villains from the book series that you like?
Yeah.
Okay. If you think of one, Scott, favorite villainous character?
I guess the 2 big ones are going to be Joker and Venom for me.
Okay, good picks. Joker.
As far as the other ones, because one of the big issue with villains in most mediums is you don't get a whole lot of insight on them.
Yeah, I feel like there is a more concentrated effort like now than let's say like 10 years ago, even of like trying to flesh out what villains are and why they are the way they are. But I'm with you, Scott. Those are good picks. Good comic book villains. Joker and Venom especially. I love Venom.
And then... I'm forgetting his name, but it's the main villain from The World Ends With You.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
An option was here, he would have my back.
Sorry.
But basically, I wouldn't say he's not like the final boss, as would be typical of a JRPG, but like for all intents and purposes, because I'm just gonna up and spoil it at this point. So in that game, easiest way to put it is you're in purgatory playing a game where there's a good chunk of other people. One of you gets to come back to life.
Oh. Damn.
If you do well enough, you can get set up for the next game. But one set of teams out of that thing can come back to life. So the person who set up this game in the first place is the person who kills you.
Okay.
And he is one of your team members at the end of it.
Oh.
Right. But you don't.
But you don't
kind of know that, but you also don't know.
So
that.
he's playing the game too?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it the character from Dream Drop Distance?
That is one of the main characters.
Okay.
That's the character that you play.
Not Neku.
He might be.
I meant he's like one of the other characters. Joshua? Is it Joshua?
I think so. Gray hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very interesting. I'll mark that
Oh
spoilers.
yeah, he was really good.
I'll mark those spoilers just because it did come out to Switch recently, but That's very interesting. I didn't know that. That's cool. Alex?
I think I also share Joker favorite villains from the comics. General Ram from Gears of War was like a very spooky boss in that game that had recurring themes of killing your teammates right in front of you.
Yeah, dude.
And Handsome Jack, I love from Borderlands too. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I enjoyed him as a villain. Sauron from Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, Sauron's a good one.
Scar from Lion King.
Very
villain.
good.
And then more recently, part of Madeline, Celeste.
Oh, Battleline.
Yeah, Badeline.
Very good. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
This next question from Matt Wright at Shibs42 on Twitter. I will say, it seems like Matt might be behind the times on this one. Should Anthem have been pushed back? Also, where's the Anthem OKBeast podcast? And then he suggests Suit Up. I guess he doesn't know about the Freelancers Guide. Which I don't know how you couldn't know.
Bro.
Scrub. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Should Anthem have been pushed back?
As far as content-wise goes, absolutely. As far as what you would expect from an MMO, kind of.
I think yes.
Yeah, I think the sentiment is yes. What do you think, Tony?
I think a lot of us, before they announced the date, could have seen end of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been reasonable to expect.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that so many games came out the week that Anthem came out.
Yeah.
Came out.
Like, I think most people would be fine if they would have said October 2019.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm with you. That was the last question. Thanks everybody for writing in. We really appreciate it. Appreciate your time and effort of sending in the questions. Real quick before we get to our final segment here, you can follow everything on the website, the podcast, all the things at Irrational Pod on Twitter. If you like the show, please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play. Check out our other shows like Input, a video games news show, Raccoon City Radio, Video Game Book Club. We just finished Ori and the Blind Forest. We're about to play Thimbleweed Park, which I'm very excited to play. I haven't played a point-and-click adventure in a hot minute. And I know Quentin Hoffman loves that game as his pick for Book Club. So, and Book Club is switching to a bi-weekly schedule, so it's just going to be a bi-weekly podcast going forward. And everything that I mentioned before is on irrationalpatch.com. Alex Van Aken, for folks who don't know, give me the sales pitch on OKBeast.
OKBeast. We are a video games website like Irrational Passions. Our focus is podcasts and videos. We do articles. Moises is one. We're a team of 5, and so several of us do videos and podcasts. A couple of us do writing. So check it out. We got the OKBeast podcast every Monday that I host. I think it's a good time. This episode 132 that's about to drop is probably a great spot to jump in and listen. It's a very entertaining episode, full of shenanigans and jokes, but also some serious conversations. So check that out. Also, Jumpmaster is our new Apex Legends podcast. So if you're looking for one of those, check it out.
Mm-hmm. You guys do a lot of really cool shows, and I'm excited about this like format change for your video essays. I'm excited for specifically the videos. I've got one coming out, and the format is more so in the vein of reporting. So instead of, I don't know, it's a different video format. So I'm excited to get it out there, and I've been sitting on, some cool interviews for a while, and I'm gonna put a video out featuring them. So that'll be a fun one. That's my next one I'm doing. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I'll say this, and forgive me if I overstep here. I consider OKBeast like a sibling site to Irrational Passions. I think they do. Mm-hmm. The approach is both similar and different, right? Like I think there are two very different kinds of content on both, right?
Yeah.
Which is why it's fun to coexist, why it's fun to collaborate and do stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
But if you at all enjoy Irrational Passions, I think you have no excuse not to check out OKBeast. I think they do equally, if not better, stuff. and it's cool because at some point, GameSpot, IGN, and all the other big sites are going to crash and burn, and it's just going to be.
And we'll be here.
It'll be OKBeast and Irrational Passions, like Handsome Phantom. We'll run the show. It's only going to be about us. But yeah, no, I love OKBeast. If I think like there's a lot of we make a lot of jokes, but like it's always like there's this sincere like love and adoration. I hope on both sides.
Oh yeah. Like it's funny. Like this week. George and Jarrett were like poking fun at us, but then like 2 months ago on Input they like shouted us out as like some of the biggest winners for their category, so we know the love is real.
Yeah, love is very real. Check out OKBeast. Brandt Ranj,
I think that's also the title of a Christian book series. Love is real.
Love is real, and if it wasn't before, it is now. Brandt Ranj, is there anything you'd like to promote?
Sure. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm not very active these days, but it's Branj, Branj. And then you can find my writing at insiderpicks.com. It's Business Insider's e-commerce section.
Yeah, you're a hardworking boy.
Nominally.
Nominally. I think so.
Thank you.
You work hard to win my heart.
Oh, you're very kind.
But fuck all that. We've reached the end of the show. It's time for the only thing that matters. That's bets.
Bets?
This week's bet. So just as a programming update, for Brandt and for Alex, you both have experienced bets before.
Right.
Dumb, silly thing. The guests throughout the year now have their own betting team.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the idea is like if we haven't had guests in a few weeks, the next guest, like their bet will be worth the amount of weeks since we had the last guest.
Got it.
So we had a guest last week, so you're just normal points along with the rest of us. But you guys have your own team. You are on the same team together.
Excellent.
This week's bet. Next week, the console version of Stellaris releases on PS4 and Xbox One. I didn't know about this. I don't know if Tony, Scott, you guys knew about this either.
This is a game.
This is irrelevant to us.
But never have. I know nothing about it.
It is a 4X game. So a la Civ.
Okay.
Mega Man 4X.
I know it's irrelevant to the three of us.
Okay,
but
so here's the best way that I could put this for you.
Pitch me.
Think Civ and StarCraft in space.
Isn't StarCraft already in space? I guess it's not actually.
It's not. It's on some sort of planet. This is
it's
straight
always
up
planet based.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that those were a thing at all, so I thought that was kind of cool. Excited for more people to be able to play it. Obviously, Scott and Tony have talked about it a lot on this podcast. In the top 5 open critic reviews, the 5 most positive reviews, how many times will any variation of 4X be used? Just to clarify, by any variation, I do mean like still only referring to it as 4X. I just mean like for the letter X or for EX, which is a genre title. And it is a 4X game for point of reference. I always try and give a point of reference.
What is it? Like explore, expand?
All right, so this
Suppose-
is the contents of the review only,
Exterminate.
correct?
Yeah, so like the text of the review, I'm gonna Command F, Control F, find in the review 4X, any variation. So the total number between the top 5 reviews. For also point of reference for listeners,
In all the top 5 reviews?
it like total between all 5. Yeah, I imagine it'll be it could be a high number. It could not be. I honestly this is swung pretty hard before. Tony and I are on a betting team. Scott and Abishan are on a betting team, and then obviously the guests are their own team as well. Scott, what do you think it'll be?
7.
Good pick. Tony, what do you think it'll be?
1.
1. Brandt, what do you think it'll be?
3.
Alex Van Aken.
I also say 3, but should I say 2 to differentiate?
No. Double down.
All right, 3.
Here's the thing.
Doubling down gets you double points
Yeah,
if you
Okay.
If it is 3 technically your team gets 2
Yeah.
points.
Good.
I thought it was 3 before you said it, so we're on.
It's okay. I'll
we're
lock it in.
thinking the same-
I said 13.
Dang. My thought
Nabishin
is
also
shorter
said 3.
review. Yeah.
So
I think
I
we're
like
Shit.
on something.
It's a lot of 3s.
Yeah, there could be a lot of points getting thrown around.
Well, I mean, wouldn't it the just get? Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
So if it is 3, like Scott and Options team gets 1 point and the guest team gets 2. So
Excellent.
could be cool. This one I'm very excited about. Let's resolve last week's bet. This time next week. So this time this week, how many viewers will Anthem have on Twitch?
Oh man.
I said 64,000. Optimistic, one might say. Scott said 30,000. Tony said 35,000. And Jake,
Yikes.
our guest, said 40,000.
Yikes.
Let's go browse the games. Anthem currently has 19,000 viewers, which means Scott, with the lowest bet, gets the point. Scott, you're on like a fucking streak. I hate it. This brings our point tallies. 2. Team about to bust a bet. 1. That's Tony and my team. We're about to bust, by the way. Team doubling down adds another point with 3. And the Norders, which is the current name for the guest team, is 3. Now I will give you guys the option. Would you like to change the guest team name?
Well, hold on. We already agreed.
Yep.
It's if they ask, they can. But if they don't, it defaults.
Okay.
So if they don't ask, but if they don't do it within ample enough time,
Yeah, they don't get to choose.
It-
I'll
I'll put it this way: if they wanted to leave it the same and they never spoke of it, it would stay the same. However, if they asked to change
they have
it but
to
didn't
say-
change
they
it
have
in
to
time,
speak
it would
up.
default.
Yeah. The Norders rock hard at 3 points. Fuck, man. Team doubling down, catching up. That's it. That's the end of the show. Thanks, everybody, for listening, tuning in. Thanks, everybody that watched live along with us. Big thanks to Brandt Ranj and Alex Van Aken. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I know this was an endurance run.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to be invited on and to talk video games. It's really nice.
Yeah, I love both of you guys very much, so it's always great to talk. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for our opening music of 2-Player Co-op and our closing music of The World Is Saved. Thank you. Thanks, Reggie, man. Thank you, Reggie, for everything, just in general.
Thanks, Reg.
Thanks, Reggie. Thank you, Scott, Tony, Nabishin, wherever you are, you ethereal being. And thank you again, Brandt and Alex. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games. Stay irrational. We will talk to you all next week. Now it's time.
Something about titles.
Titles!
I don't stop recording.
Tittles.
You do keep recording.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But do we keep streaming?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Titles.
Do we keep fucking?
God damn it. Please read the titles, Tony. I posted the doc in the chat too, so it'll be easier to get to.
It's not like I have trouble.
I know. I was just looking out for you, bud.
We got Our Birthday Night. Call Me Elsa. Let It Go.
Huh.
Patty Cake Fetish. I used to be cranky, but then I took an arrow to the knee. Generic affirmative response. Dusty Tower. At Fake Gamer Baby. And messing around with Birdo on a Thursday night.
These are all very good.
No wrong answers.
Yeah, what do you like? You gotta pick one.
Oh boy, man, I'm trying to think of like Irrational Passions titles though.
You got
Yeah.
some wild ones.
Yeah, I know. I think the fake gamer baby is pretty good.
The fake gamer maybe is pretty
I
good.
agree.
Is that your pick, Alex?
I can get down with that.
Okay. Tony, what do you like?
I like Fake Gamer Baby.
Scott, do you have any other varying opinion here?
I mean,
I know
this Crank Kong one's pretty good.
this Cranky Kong one is pretty good, you guys.
I'm not saying that it's not good. I did not say it wasn't good.
Yeah. It is a little mouthy for a title. I get it.
It's a very long title, SEO purpose.
We've had longer.
Great.
Well, so like when I posted on the
That's not
website, I use
exaggeration.
a different title for SEO. You know, I gotta look out for my numbers. But when I post it to iTunes directly, that's the
I would
title.
love if you just went to irrationalpassions.com. I used to be cranky, but then I took an arrow to
It would be pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
and it trails off with a
Can we actually no? Before we decide on this, can you see if a Twitter account is at fake gamer baby? Because if it's like some weird
Twitter account or like Instagram account.
both of them.
Whoa.
Because if it's
I'm
something
looking at
horrible that we don't know about, we really should not be publicizing.
True.
Because we don't want to put somebody on blast for no reason,
I'm looking at Instagram.
or either put somebody on blast, or it looks like we're promoting something.
There is no fake gamer baby Instagram account, but there is a fucking fake gamer baby Instagram hashtag, and all of the ones are very funny and very cute.
Okay,
It's
cool.
a guy playing video games with his kid.
Oh, that's really cool. But check Twitter, please.
I did. That's a bunch of kiddos.
Okay, so all right, so it's not
It's pure.
that. Then that actually might be nice.
Yeah.
Because if you check that ad on Twitter or Instagram, you're actually going to see something nice. Again, my only fear was that it was going to be something terrible.
This Tuesday, like when the podcast releases, just like horrible, horrendous shit has gone up.
It's just like really, really, really terrible.
Fuck. They got us. Yeah, I'm down with the fake gamer baby. So like normally I have the guests say the episode number,
Right.
and then one of us will say the title. But there's two guests,
Sure.
so we can just make you guys do it. Who wants to say the title and who wants to say the episode number?
I don't care. I can do either one.
Alex, do you have a preference?
I want to say fake gamer, baby.
Okay.
Awesome.
Do you want me to write out the title thing, or do you got it?
This is Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 414.
Mhm.
Okay.
You got it, dude.
Yeah.
You got
At
this.
fake gamer, baby.
Yeah, and then you say that whenever you guys are ready.
Okay, cool. Welcome. This is Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 414.
At fake gamer, baby.
That's it. That's all I got. That's it. You can stop recording now. Except for Scott. Scott, you have to keep recording.
Yep. It's just me and you.
Yeah, dude.
Unless you guys want to stick around.
So Scott and I are going to talk Kingdom Hearts 3 spoilers now.
Oh, yeah, I can't be here.
Yeah.
I literally need to play that game and all 8 of them.
But you,
Yeah.
Alex, you can stop recording. You can save your file, and you are free to go. Thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Yeah, y'all are killing it. If no one has told you recently, just BT Dubs, y'all are killing it.
Thanks, dude. Y'all too. Yeah, I literally looked at your website today. I was like, these dudes are putting out content every single day.
We're trying, not every day, but we are getting close.
It
At this
seems
point.
like it, yeah.
Yeah, every week we have a good load,
Good.
fresh load of content.
Drop your content load on me.
That's what I'm trying to do, babe.
Anyways,
Yeah, just upload your file, maybe to Google Drive or something. Share it with me. Hit me
I'm
with
gonna
it.
go watch what's that show? Blind Spotting.
Russian Dolls.
Russian Dolls.
Nailed it.
I'm gonna watch Blind Spotting.
What's Blind Spotting about?
A movie. I don't know.
All right,
People raving about it. I gotta watch it now.
nice, dude. All right, have a good
All
night.
right, y'all. Good to see
Um,
everybody.
Tell your cats I said I missed them.
I will.
Thanks,
I will
man.
embrace them right now. All right, bye.
Tony,
Tony, you can leave.
I love you, bud.
I mean,
I'll
like,
stick
we're just
around.
gonna start.
Oh, you want to stick around, Tony?
Why not?
Sure, dude.
All right. Well,
All
I
right,
love
so-
all of you. Love and respect. I'm going to do something else for a bit.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brandt.
This will only take like 5,
Less than-
10 minutes.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes. Yeah.
That's fair. I'll be upstairs.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sure. You can just take out your headphones.
Yeah, love and respect.
Yeah, you're good. All right. Scott.
All right, Toy Story World, dude.
Yeah.
I like this world a lot.
Did you? Oh,
I did.
yeah. It's funny. Like, I think that's probably like at the end of it all is like maybe bottom 2 for me, but I still really liked it.
So, the writing for the story portion is easily the weakest part of the world.
Yeah, it gets a little weird. It's also weird,
The-
like not having the original voice actors. It stands out a lot for me.
Yeah. The imitations do a good job.
Yeah, I think they do a good job. I
And
really like
it's
the
what I
voice.
do like is even though the story bits aren't I would say it's probably the most ham-fisted of of all of it, and that is its problem.
There's you finished it, right? The Toy Story World.
Yes.
There's a great moment though where Woody's just like, I don't know what the fuck all y'all are talking about.
Yeah, like at the end.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
It's like the most Kingdom Hearts. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the whole I made an alternate world and warped you all to it. It's like I don't know what any of this is about. Yeah,
And it doesn't matter to me.
and it does not
Buzz
matter.
getting
Made a
fucked out.
mistake.
Tony was like, "All right, it's too much, too much." Yeah, but I love the level design of that world, especially.
Yeah, that's the big kicker. That's a very fun world to run around in,
Mm-hmm.
as well as aside from those story bits, it's the integration of the separate world was kind of a very smart thing to do.
Yeah. As far as like a narrative thing, yeah.
Apart from the narrative and like because it's hey, now the parts that make them toys kind of work now.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with that?
Yeah. Buzz just shoots real ass lasers now. Yeah, I'm a big fan. That toy store is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish the Zurg showed up at some point, just as like a Toy Story fan, but oh well.
Yeah, no, he was replaced by the whole Verum Rex thing,
Yeah,
which was the opening to that was great.
yeah. I
The whole
was
opening to the world.
I loved it.
Because it
Dude.
was hold on. Did they put an ad in Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah, a lot of folks I talked to were like, as soon as I booted the world, it was like, did I accidentally unlock a cutscene or something? It's like I love that they found a way to just work dumb Square Enix ass bullshit into like a lore thing for a Toy Story world for Kingdom
Well,
Hearts.
that's the thing. Is that's exactly what fucking Rex would be doing.
Yep.
He would be watching a TV show.
Yeah, watching
before
some
it came like that.
Dumb anime ass TV show. It's so good. Oh yeah. And
Yeah, so it's aside from the ham-fisted, I guess the better way to put it would be ham-fisted plot points.
mm-hmm.
Everything else was good except for that, and then, as you said, not having the original voice actors. Which,
Yeah.
the only one to me that it was super noticeable on was Woody.
Yeah, Woody really stood out to me too. It's Tom Hanks' brother. Fun fact. So it's close to it. Yeah, it's cool too because a lot of the other like more recent Disney worlds, like Tangled for example, all the original voice actors came back for that, so that was cool. So.
Yeah, and the next world I'm on is Frozen, and then I also did a lot of Gummy Ship this time around.
Nice. I
Just-
actually like the Gummy Ship stuff in 3 a lot.
I was like, I have an hour to play.
Mm-hmm.
Why it's not enough to get through a world.
Mm-hmm.
It is enough to dick around a little bit
Yeah.
and actually get something done.
Yeah.
Because at that point, as I get through these worlds, I'm a little underleveled for the next place.
Yeah.
The next zone is 26, and I was 18.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't skipping fights, but I guess I didn't explore all that much either. I did end up noticing that I didn't skip any areas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit of a weird pacing for me.
Yeah, there is like that level jump does stand out to me for when you go to that second area, like second group of areas. Have you seen?
Keep going.
Have you seen? I don't know which interstitial scenes, so like between world scenes, you've seen so far.
Okay, so this is the one where they figure out that they can make a replica to store Roxas in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
So this then they have the whole arc with Evan.
yeah, that's kind of going on. How much Riku stuff have you seen?
Next to none.
Okay, cool.
There was the scene where Riku and Mickey were into the Dark World.
Yeah.
The one time. The part where Aqua got lost very deep,
Mm-hmm.
and there's also the portion where I guess it's half King Rinku and Mickey, but it is also half. It got played out in the Toy Story 2,
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking
where
about.
they realize that well, they don't explicitly tell Sora that young Xehanort is Terra.
Yeah.
They figure it out though.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
And then, yeah, Terra is able to come out of young Xehanort and give Sora the hint.
Mm-hmm. I really like that stuff too, of like the characters kind of catching up to the stuff that the player knows of like, you know,
Yeah.
where is Roxas, like that kind of stuff, right? Cool. Any other thoughts, feelings? Still digging it?
Yeah, still digging it. I'm enjoying the Keyblades
Yeah.
transformations
The Toy Story one's really
and
fun.
how they help.
Cool. Keep at it, Scott. Keep
I
crushing
would
those
say I like the Toy Story one, the hammer.
ones. Mm-hmm.
The big issue that I have with it is that, especially in that world, is that those enemies like to move large distances very quickly.
Yeah.
And you at the stage I'm at, you can't keep up with them with the time that you have with that Keyblade.
Yeah, true.
Other key forms, you can, but in that one you can't.
Did you get the like the shooting star looking one yet?
Yes.
It shoots in the cool guns.
Yeah, I replaced that one for the everlasting key
Gotcha.
because I have a Keyblade for regular strength, a Keyblade for magic, and then I have the Phantom Green, which is the special Xbox one.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that
Which is-
assuming it's the same thing for PS4.
Yeah, it's basically just like the Kingdom Key. So
Right, just slightly better.
yeah, slightly more stats. I actually really like the Tangled one. That was one I used through most of that game because it has such a high magic stat.
Yeah,
which
and-
wrecks fools. I like the staff form too.
Yeah, I want to see what kind of a magic regeneration abilities you get past the other one, because like in one, are you seeing what I'm saying? Like I'm assuming you went magic.
Yeah, I did
build.
go magic.
Are you seeing what I'm saying with how easy it is to recharge your bars?
Yeah, I totally do. I do.
So it's you can't just fire it off back to back to back to back as easily and as soon as you could. But what you can do is use it consistently through the fight.
Yes.
It's something that you can heavily rely on fight after fight.
Yeah, and it
Whereas-
consistently does great damage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
And like, yeah, that was gone into, even though they kind of buffed its. I mean, wisdom form was broken into, and like the form when you use magic in your form changes, absolutely, it was the strongest thing ever.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it was all lackluster, and
Yeah, I get you.
yeah. And then it's because of how fast it is in this game, as opposed to kind of how 2's was slow. And how much more varied it is, because I really like Arrow.
Yeah, Arrow's really cool, right? Yeah, I'm totally with you. Cool.
I think Magic will do much better in this game too.
Yeah, I agree. And you can move and cast spells, and it's cool.
Yes, you don't have to stop to cast spells, which is it makes it it's not the most broken thing in this game
Mm-hmm.
per se.
Yeah.
But it makes it a much stronger option, all on top of everything else that they've done for it.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
So it's like, I didn't know this was in the game. I probably would have just said, hey, I'm going to go a magic build for once in the Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah. Cool, man. Anything else?
So far that's it.
Cool.
I played in the open world of the gummy ship, shot some rocks, realized that a fluorite came out of the rocks, and I was like,
Yeah, I had the same moment too.
I was like, maybe I should do this.
Yeah, this could be helpful for getting my Keyblades. Dope as shit.
Is I'm assuming that's just how you upgrade the Keyblades then?
It'll like similar to other video games. It'll ask for different crafting materials. Soon.
Well, I've hit that point, but I'm assuming that as you go up in tiers in gummy ship levels,
yes, yeah. I mean,
once you start shooting asteroids, it'll give you the next base item.
That and like the areas, like you got to the second like gummy ship area, like that'll have the better stuff. Than the previous one. So stuff like that.
Forget what the second one is called. That's why I'm calling it that.
Yeah, it's like a Damascus, maybe.
That's probably it.
Yeah, it's one of them. I know.
So yeah, that'll definitely be the way that'll be farming Damascus later.
Yup. Hell yeah, dude.
And it's in any other Kingdom Hearts game, I would mind.
Yeah.
In this one, I don't.
Yeah, I
honestly don't.
I just like hanging out in that world
because it's. In the other games, you had to do it when you didn't want to. In this game, it is a choice, so you can skip it when you don't want to, and then you're not burned out for when you want to go back and do something.
Yeah, I'm with you. Cool. Video games.
Right, that is
it. You can stop recording.
That is all I got for today.
Thank you, Scott.
Next world is Frozen World.
Hell yeah, I'm so excited for that one. Personal favorite. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good night.